to We Want Picks. Jakey and I are going to break down the entire UFC 286, aka UFC London fight card, giving you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. And if you want $50, I will give you $50. All you need to do, I don't know why I'm so animated right now.
Oh, because it's a fun card. Here we go.
It's actually in the middle of the day, which always takes the wind out of it. Anyway, I'll give you $50. Just go to wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our affiliate betting partners, and I will send you $50 as a thank you. You click the link. You make an account. You make a deposit. They're going to pay me. And then I'm going to take a piece of that, and I'm going to pay you. Because we're in this together. I make money, you make money. We all make money together. WeWantPicks.com/bets.
If they paid you in pie or pizza, would you still give a slice away?
If it was apple with the Dutch apple with the crumbles on top, absolutely not. No.
Okay.
If it's Domino's pizza, take the whole fucking thing.
At least you're honest.
WeWantPicks.com/bets. Guys, once I give you that $50, actually before the $50, you should take it and spend it on some premium membership. This is a snapshot of 2023. Obviously, this past Saturday's card wasn't the best card we've ever had. The safety parlay base hit. J.J. Aldridge blew out the third leg. Never, ever, ever touching women in a safety parlay ever again. Either way,
I will always touch women.
For 2023, We Want Picks is up 21.45 units. 2023, 21.45 units. Almost 6 of those units are from the safety parlay alone. 15.5 of those units are from the bets. These are the bets, mine, Jacob, whether they're premium or the free ones I give away. We have been very, very successful, and not just with the bets. Our DraftKings ownership numbers, we focus so much on betting, and you guys are obsessed with the bets because everybody wants to spend $10 on us and then pay their mortgage. The reality is there's so much content for premium members, including DraftKings ownership projections. We have been dominating that space. We were at a 2.92% off of the actuals. Our projections were less than 3% off of the actuals. The next closest was 3.5%. We're absolutely crushing. This is week in, week out. We have the best DraftKings ownership projections in the game. We have also added 38 columns of detailed data and analytics. We have the picks, the bets, the raw notes, the breakdowns, the confidence picks. We give you round prop lines for every single fight. We have a DraftKings optimizer, FanDuel content, DraftKings content, and now we have 38 columns of detailed metrics that you can work your way through and find your own spots. This is not just about copy, paste the bets. This is go in there, use our tools, use this to do your research, find your spots, place your bets, make your picks, build your lineups. All of that is available to you for only $10 a month, including the line movement tracker. This card, yet again, has some very interesting line movement on it. This tracker has been a huge hit. I get to see, do you know how many clicks our website gets a month?
I want to say $1, Bob.
Okay, 250,000 clicks a month. And the average time spent on our website is over 6 minutes. And you guys are spending a lot of that time on the live movement tracker. WeOwnPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. That's the spiel. It is what it is. $10 a month. WeOwnPicks.com. Click. Become a member. Let's go ahead and break down this card, Jakey boy. And I got Juliana Miller in my safety parlay.
Do you really?
Absolutely not. I'm done with women in the safety parlay. First up, at UFC 286, we have Juliana Miller. Jesus. Juliana Miller.
Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. I mean, this is one of the most popular. I mean, we have back-to-back, basically, pay-per-views. A lot of momentum coming off. I mean, it's just like, and that's how you start the podcast.
I'm coming off spring break vacation.
First up, we have Juliana Miller facing Veronica, now Hardy, which, by the way, and I mentioned in my quick pick video, hats off to Dan Hardy, huh? I mean, I don't know if you've been through her Instagram. You don't do the type of research that I do. We do very different type of research. But I was on her Instagram. Holy shit, is she hot. So hats off to Dan Hardy on that. Go ahead and take it over, Angelo.
We got Juliana Miller taking on Veronica Macedo Hardy. Juliana Miller only 3-1. Only 3-1. That's her entire career, but she did just win the Ultimate Fighter. Veronica Macedo, or now Veronica Hardy, 6-4 overall, only 1-4 in her last 5. She is coming back after 3 years away. Veronica's a technical striker. She's light on her feet. She's fast. She bounces around, charges forward with lefts and rights, and then she circles out. She's creative with her striking. She's fast. While her striking can be fun, she's got no defensive wrestling whatsoever. She can get taken down very easily.
Who?
And that's a problem for her, Veronica.
Okay.
What
I never really listened, but when you say something so precise and so like on par, like I want to make sure you're talking about the right person here.
Oh, thank you for fact checking. Juliana Miller, her odds look like this. She's a minus 450 favorite. She exploded from a minus 200 favorite. The line movement tracker could have helped you if you want to bet on that. Could have helped you get on that at like the minus 220 mark as it was moving instead of waiting until minus 450. The reason those odds look like that is because Juliana Miller, while inexperienced, while she only has 4 professional fights, she's ferocious. It's a nice little description. She's ferocious and she can grapple. She will come forward. She will grind, work it to the ground. She's got impressive scramble skills. She can snatch things up in transitions. She's coming off that win over Brogan Walker where she won with grappling. It is clear.
Wasn't
Juliana
she
Miller,
wasn't she the underdog in that too? Did everyone think that Brogan was going to out wrestle her? Wasn't that the game plan?
Brogan was one of the more experienced women in the house, and that was what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And Juliana Miller came out. But my notes for that fight, so every time I watch a fight, like right now I'm looking at a spreadsheet. I have each fighter, their last 5.
Nerd alert. Nerd alert.
The breakdown for each fighter. And then I add a column, and if I watch the fight, I put the notes in there. My notes for that were Juliana Miller is not very good. She's not polished. She's a little wild. She is tenacious. Wow, she will go out there. She will fight for your money, but she's not very good. And there is not a world where I'm spending minus 450 on a not very good fighter with only 4 fights. This is set up for her to win. The UFC said, hey, here's somebody you should be able to take down and bully. That's what this is. But JJ Aldrich was given that same gift last week, and how did that work out? Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've said it for a long, long time. If you guys watch the live streams, what we do is we never bet on heavyweights. I always break that rule. And we never bet on women's MMA because you never know what the hell is going to happen. And I obviously always break that rule as well. But those are two. If you want to have good success, no heavyweights, no women's MMA, you will do much better because anything can happen with women's MMA, especially because most of them, it goes to a decision. When it goes to a decision, literally anything can happen. For this fight, I really don't see a decision, honestly. I think that Veronica is either going to show up and look fantastic for whatever reason after 3 years off. You don't really know how she's going to look. She could have been training secretly or whatever for the last 3 years because her Instagram, not a lot of training videos, a lot of great videos, a lot of great pictures. I will say that, but not a lot of training stuff on her Instagram. But she could have been doing it in the background, not promoting it, come out, look great. There's just so many question marks to this fight. But, I think Juliana Miller should win this fight. She's shown how tough she can be. Angelo mentioned the grappling. Veronica in her last matchup, she is a wild girl. I mean, she will throw volume, not super technical, but she is a wild girl. And even on the ground, she will do wild stuff. I saw her like Imanari rolling. She's very flexible, it seems. Dan Hardy, great job with that. So anything can happen when they get on the ground, especially with somebody as inexperienced as Juliana Miller. So, I'm staying away from it. I think that under 2.5 is pretty good value at even money because Juliana Miller should, hypothetically, come in and just kind of steamroll Veronica, but it's hard to trust women. I will tell you that. I've learned that in my 26 years of living. It is hard to trust women.
26? You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Actually, you look pretty horrific. You have a giant scar. Definitely not looking 26.
That's just from when she grabbed me like this. Split me wide open.
Who's she?
All of them. All of them.
Why they
Can't
grab
get
your
enough.
face?
Can't get enough.
Okay. Well, congrats. It is interesting because Veronica, I mentioned, gets taken down very easily. She's actually pretty slick on the ground. She's not useless on the ground, but she does get taken down very easily. So it's like a weird, what probably happens is Juliana Miller gets the takedown and avoids being submitted. But it's not like you take Veronica down and you're out of the woods. She is primarily a striker, but has jiu-jitsu. Zero takedown defense whatsoever. In all reality, Juliana Miller probably scores pretty well in DraftKings because of the takedowns, because of the control time. I'm not touching it. JJ Aldrich ruined all of this for me. I am not a spiteful person. I have daughters, and I always hated the notion of don't bet women's MMA. I always hated that. And now I'm like, JJ Aldrich should have been fired just as quick as they fired
Turns out I
William
was,
Knight.
like most things, I was right all along.
They should have get rid of her the same way they got rid of William Knight. Like, that was the worst performance I've ever seen.
Oh, he's got a fight booked.
Arriva there. I know. I showed you the text when they texted me looking for an opponent for him.
Well, he's got an opponent now. It was a few days ago.
It was a group.
Like a 12-10 fighter or something.
I know the CES matchmaker very well, and he texts me when he needs some fights. He texted me saying, "Hey, do you have anybody for William Knight?" I shared that information with you.
If he ever asks for a 185er, you ring my phone.
You weigh 168 pounds. Wet.
I stand on the scale right now. It's 183 on the dot.
Go get the scale. Get the scale. Stand on it.
It's carpet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can try.
Scale.
I will.
Get the scale. Take a picture. How long is this going to take? Take a picture. And then come back. While he's doing that, I'm just going to start breaking down the next fight. It's the only way to do this, guys. It's the only way to do this. What's the timestamp so we can put this in the weekly update? 11, whatever the hell. This is going to take forever. Am I waiting for you? Okay. Here we go.
It's a big place. Sorry, it took one. I got the scales.
You just stood there. I did.
It's just right here. And I just. So I think I'll film myself getting up, going to the wood right there, and then I'll film it and I'll show you the video because it really is carpet right here. You can't do it.
Okay, I'll break down the intro of this next fight while you do that.
All right. I'm gonna start the film.
Okay, I got you.
All right,
I got you.
We're live right here. Okay.
Next up at UFC 286, we have Jai Herbert taking on Ludovit Klein. Jai Herbert, 12-4 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off the decision loss to Kyle Nelson. Ludovit Klein, 19-4 overall. Just let it go. 3-2 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight win streak. And this is an interesting matchup. Jai Herbert, let me do this breakdown.
Oh, you can't see it. Fuck, here we go again. Here we go again.
I can't see what you're holding in your hand either.
What?
You're holding weights.
Oh no! I literally you can see my reflection getting on the you can see my reflection getting on the scale.
All right. Well, congratulations. Good for you. I don't know how you're 5'6", weighing 185 pounds, but you managed to do it.
No, it was actually 182.2. There you go.
Well, it's on your feet, you absolute buffoon. And this started when you said if they want a 185 pounder, you weigh 182, fully clothed with a hoodie and those metal shoes.
I don't want to cut weight. You can see it.
Yeah, with no shirt, you weigh 170.
Yeah, probably 180, 179.
Okay. I'm just going to start this over. Congrats. Hey, congrats on being so big. Anybody who wants to see what Jacob looked like growing up, go. Is it on? Oh, you got to be a premium.
You know what's funny is I don't look that big right here because it's mostly my lower half. You know what I mean?
I don't. Okay, we're like way off the rails here. Way off the rails. I got to start this.
I'm not 5'6". Fuck.
Yeah, you're not 5'6". Go watch the vlog with us together. You'll see. Next up at UFC 286, we have Jai Herbert taking on Ludovit Klein. Jai Herbert, 12-4 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off that loss to Kyle Nelson. He's taking on Ludovit Klein, who is 19-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight win streak. And it feels like they just love putting Jai Herbert on these UFC London cards to get him smacked around, I guess. This poor guy, he has not had an easy matchup at a UFC London card yet. He just hasn't. And this isn't any easier. Jai Herbert is a technical striker. He likes to keep fights at range. He's got a lot of movement, and his feet are never planted for more than a half a second. He's always cutting angles, feinting, moving from side to side. That should make him an elusive target, but you're going to see when I flip this slide, he has a negative striking differential. And he's coming off that win over Kyle Nelson after just being put out. That didn't even whistle. After being put out by...
I whistle by blowing in and sucking. I mean, blowing out and... Look.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone. Jaw hurt.
I learned by sucking. That's a real story. When I was a kid.
At the church. He's taking on Ludovit Klein. Ludovit Klein is also a very, very good striker. And he's a very technical striker at that. He can also grapple when he needs to. He has a nice kick that he hides behind his jab. He's never throwing anything lazy. He's not out of position. He's not just throwing one thing at a time. And if he does get in trouble, if he's losing those striking exchanges, he can lean on the grappling. He took down Mike Trezano 4 times in that fight. Even though he didn't take down Devontae Smith in that fight, he had a whole bunch of control time. And he's coming off that big-time underdog win. Jacob had him as the lock of the week. Over Mason Jones. We had 7 minutes of control time in that fight, too. And Jai Herbert's tricky to break down because he's very good, but he just seems to find ways to lose fights. He's going to have a size advantage, probably a power advantage, a reach advantage in this fight. I think Ludovit's going to be too technical, too sound, working, grappling when he needs to. The movement should be solid. I like Ludovit Klein to get the win here. Minus 190 seems a bit wide because this is 2 strikers and Ludovit's not invincible. Mike Trezano beat him, genuinely beat him. And he had 4 takedowns and he still lost the decision in that fight. So I think Ludovit wins. I do have a bet that I'll be placing on Friday once those props drop. I'll talk about that in a second. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the Ludovit side as well. I think those opening odds, like the minus 130 for Ludovit, is kind of more on par. I maybe would play that with Ludovit, but he's way too expensive now at the minus 170. Jai is a very, very good striker, and I'm a big fan of Jai. And we'll see if the confidence comes back, because that's really what he lacks. I mean, you saw him bouncing around in that Ilya fight, looked fantastic, almost put Ilya away, and kind of hesitated in that moment. And Ilya was able to get his wits back about him, and then found the knockout on his own. And ever since that knockout, in his last fight, he just looked so tentative. There was a lot more clinching and grappling. He didn't really let his hands go, where he really is a rangy, free-flowing fighter. And we'll see if the confidence of being in Leon's camp after he became the champion, because that camp's got to be, out of control the last 6 months or however long it's been. Leon's on top of the world. He's around, all that kind of. So we'll see if he's able to bring that confidence back into his fighting style, because when he's a confident striker, he's probably smoking everyone in the division not named Ilya. You know what I mean? So we'll see if he can get that confidence back. If he can, I think Ludovit could be in trouble because he is so rangy with those strikes. But as you mentioned, Ludovit does kind of have that ace in his back pocket with the wrestling that he can go to if he gets in trouble. Ludovit tends to lose fights when he's getting outworked. You saw that with Nate Landwehr, Mike Trezano a little bit. And Jai's just not that type of guy that's going to outwork somebody and pressure him. He's a little bit more clean, and Ludovit should be able to withstand the striking of Jai, but I'm not putting my money on it, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least if Jai comes in, looks like his old self, and finds a sniper shot on Ludovit. So Ludovit's the play, but there's better places to put your money.
Here's people figuring out that you're an absolute muppet. Our Discord is free. There is a link in the description to join the Discord. It's 100% free. Nope, wrong. I pinned the wrong comment.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what that is.
I pinned the wrong comment. Hold on. Here it is. Jacob, you literally said Jai sucks in the Discord.
I say everyone.
Now you're like, I think he can win.
I say everyone sucks. I said Usman sucks. I say Aaron sucks about once a day. Every like 12 hours, probably say Aaron sucks. I said Marvin Vettori sucks. It's just what I say.
Okay.
And I think he sucks.
And
what's
you learn
name?
how to whistle
what's
by
his name?
sucking.
None your bigness. I think he sucks.
So I mean, this.
We can go down we can go down the whole list if you want. I think Artem sucks. I think Mr. D sucks. I think I0 sucks.
Artem's about to be a bigger part of this whole thing.
I think Bryce sucks. I don't think D sucks. I wouldn't say that.
Okay, stop.
Lou Sassel sucks.
$7,800 for Jai Herbert, $84 for Ludovit Klein. I'm not spending the $84 on Ludovit. I don't know if I trust the $7,800 on Jai because he can be a bit tentative. I mentioned I teased the bet. The bet that I'm probably going to place once it drops on Fridays. Bet Online offers significant strike prop lines where you can bet the over or under on significant strikes. You can bet who's going to land more significant strikes in this matchup. And I think that's easy Ludovit Klein money because Jai Herbert lands, let's just pull it back up.
Yeah,
Jai
he's,
Herbert's
more of
only,
he's like a 1-2, where Ludovit will be 1-2-3 and then throw a kick as well. So he probably should double the strikes.
yeah, not only does Jai Herbert land fewer strikes, he's getting hit more than he's landing. So he's low volume and hittable. Ludovit Klein, there's not a line yet. Those don't come out till Friday. But two things. One, make sure you're a premium member. Because if you're a premium member and you have alerts turned on in Discord, you will be notified the second we place that bet. Those props that drop on Fridays, we hit them like within minutes, and those lines usually take off, especially the takedown ones. We've had a ton of success with the takedown lines. Even the 10 minutes between when I get it and Jacob gets it, you'll see the lines are different. Anyway, if you're a premium member, it's only $10 a month. I don't need to keep convincing you to do that. A ton of you do that now. Make sure you turn on alerts for the premium alert channel in the Discord so you get that to your phone. And two, it's a Bet Online exclusive. So go to weonpicks.com/bets. Use our link. If you use our link, you sign up, you make an account, I'll send you $50 as a thank you. It's that simple. They're going to pay me, I'm going to pay you.
I had no idea.
Yeah, you didn't sign up with any of them using our link. What a joke. Anyway, are you going to spend the $700-800 in DraftKings?
No.
I mean, you think Ludovit wins, but you recognize that Jai's trick-a-loots.
No, because it's either he finds a finish or I don't know. I don't even think Jai can win a decision versus the pressure of Ludovit. So I think he needs a finish, and I think that's a tall task to ask of the mask. Little rhyme.
Okay. Congratulations on the rhyme. Next up, at UFC 286, we have a reorganized card. For like 3 weeks, they had Joanne Wood and Luana Carolina on the main card, and they said, you know what, you're out. Casey O'Neal's in. So they've got Luana Carolina as the third fight on the card versus Joanne Wood. Joanne Wood, 15-8 overall, only 1-4 in her last 5. She is coming off the loss to current champion Alexa Grasso. Luana Carolina's 8-3 overall, 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that spinning back fist knockout to Molly McCann. And very similar to Jai Herbert, Luana Carolina gets put on these UFC London cards basically to lose. And that's what's being set up here.
I don't think they put Jai on to lose, but
they don't put him on to lose. He just figures out how.
I think they thought that Ilya match was going to be a good fight, and it was.
He's the closest that anybody's been to beating Ilya.
Well,
so yeah, Ryan Hall.
No, I mean,
right there.
Come on.
Yeah,
I think we saw how close Mr. Ryan Hall, the Wizard, was from that heel hook. I mean, if the ref didn't stop it, Ilya would still be recovering from knee surgery. I mean, it would have been.
Yeah, when in fact Ryan Hall is the one recovering from surgery. Joanne Wood. She was Joanne Calderwood for quite a while, JJ Calderwood. She married somebody with essentially the same last name, so now she's Joanne Wood. She's sort of a jack of all trades. She's one of the more experienced women in this division. She can strike, she can grapple, she can do all the things. She's had a rough run, 1-4 in her last 5, but you got to look at the opponents. Her last 3 losses are Alexa Grasso, Tyler Santos, and Lauren Murphy. One of them is the champ, 2 of them fought for the belt. Like, she's only fighting the best in the division. That is who she's losing to. She's beating people she should beat. This should be no different. But this should be a little trickier than a lot of people were going to think, because Luana Carolina is a solid striker. She's got solid takedown defense. She's not the most technical in the division, but she's fantastic in the clinch. She's got great knees, great elbows. She's got solid Muay Thai. Her takedown defense is very good at 82%. And if she does get taken down, she's super busy working for submissions. I do think Joanne Wood wins this fight. 3 weeks ago, I threw a half a unit on her at -150. 2 things. 1, solid value. She's -190 now, so I got solid value on that. 2,
you wish you didn't do it.
After the JJ Aldrich fight, I've never regretted anything more in my life. She has scarred me. She didn't even try to win that fight. It was embarrassing.
And I'll tell you, no, it wasn't. I mean, obviously, it's her fault. She should know what's going on. But her corner, and we watched on live stream, her corner was the worst corner I've ever. She had lost the first round. She's losing the second round. She is losing all the striking exchanges. And she landed like a 1-2 that barely touched her. And her corner was like, "Great job, JJ. Great job." It's like, what? No, scream out, get the fucking takedown. Get the takedown. What are you doing? Oh my God.
I just regret it so much. And Anyway, we're not getting off track here. Joanne Wood should beat Luana Carolina.
Oh.
She should be better basically everywhere, just a smidge better. She is older. She is on sort of this horrific losing pattern. So we're going to find out. Is she really in this to continue to try to work her way up, try to get a title shot, try to make something of it? Or is she just showing up, having fun, making some money? She's married now, working into the next phase of her life.
Big local fight.
Working into the next phase of her life. I did throw the half a unit on that. There is a lot of closing value if you tailed it early and she wins. Listen, we made some money. I'm not going to do that almost ever again. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of regret that because I think this is one of the closest fights on the card. I think it's a sloppy kind of slugfest. Both these girls are kind of the exact same fight style. I would agree that Joanne Wood is probably just a little bit better everywhere on Carolina, and Carolina is coming off that knockout. You never know. I mean, listen, you never know how fighters are going to react after getting absolutely flatlined and put out like that. Okay, you never know how they're going to react. So it'll be interesting to see how she does come out. She was already kind of a slow starter to begin with, and as the fight goes on, honestly, she really kind of picks up speed and gets some confidence. You saw that in the Loopy fight. She came back. That was obviously a weird fight for Loopy, but she came back and won that fight. Even against Molly, Molly came in, blitzed her early, almost put her out in the first round, and then you saw Molly slow down, and Luana starting to pick up the pace and was looking good in that third round up to that point when she got knocked out. So it's hard to say that, but you know, I don't see either one of these girls finishing either one. So it's probably going to a decision. And the way that Luana can come on strong late second into the third round of a close striking match, it comes to the judges. I guarantee this is probably a 29-28 one way, and anything can happen when you have those judges. Maybe you can hedge on the fact that Joanne is the hometown whatever, so you hometown refs, whatever it is, but this is a very close fight. I wouldn't pick either side on this. I think it's sloppy. I think it's back and forth. I think it's close. Comes down to the judges. I might even throw something on, if you can bet that it's a split decision or something, because it seems like it's headed that way. I'm staying away from it, but Joanne should be good enough to win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, she literally is better everywhere. But, you know, we just don't know what her career means to her at this point.
And you don't know how people are going to react after getting flatlined. You know what I mean?
We get it. Yeah, we get it. We'll get to that fight in about 2.5 hours. $8,600 in DraftKings, $7,600 for Luana Carolina. I'm probably going to fade this fight, but sometimes these are the sneaky fights that score a ton of points. You get some wrestling, you get some cage control, you get some you know it's going to go the distance. So you may get some solid points out of this. I'm probably going to leave it alone. We have 15 fights on this card, and there's a good amount of people that I think can win inside the distance here, and a couple of underdogs that should not be underdogs. So I'm probably going to leave this alone in DraftKings. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I actually do have a bet on this fight. I actually kind of forgot about it, but
it's a premium bet, Jacob.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that I think it's a really good one for this fight. And that's what I'll say. Go to we1picks.com. Become a premium member today. It is only $10 a month. I mean, you get in a taxi cab on 34th and 5th. I guarantee you find $10 in coins in the fucking cushion of that cab.
Cabs don't have cushions. It's just one solid thing, and
the cracks.
4th and 5th don't intersect.
Sometimes you got to dig around in the cracks until you find what you're looking for, Angelo. That's some good life advice there. Sometimes you don't know what you're looking for until you're in the crack, and then you find it, and you love it.
34th and 5th don't intersect. But
I think they would, right? One's even, one's odd.
Well, West 34th, but it's not even called. Anyway. We don't pick on for all the things.
I think I know New York City.
You went to New York City one time, and I took you there.
I flew over it another time, though. So I got the grid view.
I took you one time. You saw homeless people fighting and literally hid behind me as I walked past it. And
I went twice. I went twice.
Me?
Well, we went once, and then the other time we just stopped in.
I picked you up at the. I picked you up at the airport.
No, that was when you were dropping me off at LaGuardia. Yeah, okay. I flew out of LaGuardia. We stopped. We got a slice. You know.
I brought you to Jack's Pizzeria. Got a slice.
Was honestly the best pizza I think I've ever had in my life.
And they closed down. They jacked up the. They doubled the rent. It's called Pizza Palace in Queens. They doubled his rent, and he's like, "Forget it, I'm out of here." But and then the second time we went, you saw homeless people fighting in the subway, screaming.
My God. Oh,
you were
my God.
terrified.
I literally started running. I literally started just running up the stairs. It's like, oh my God, that's actually happening. I was like, is this a movie set? I was looking for the cameras. Ashton, am I being punked right now?
I just said, don't look at him, keep moving. And you were like, oh God.
And then I got on the subway and I went to grab the bar. You're like, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
It's disgusting. And this is pre-COVID. This is pre-COVID.
You literally were like, I was like, so I had to like sit there and just subway surf, not touching anything.
I mean, even pre-COVID, you didn't. That's disgusting. You can get any disease you want, any disease you wanted. Anyway,
can't get it if you already got it. Are we gonna get through this pod? I have no idea what's happening anymore. I don't even know if we're live. Honestly, it feels like we're not live.
We've got 200.
Feels like this is a joke.
50-something people watching, but I hear you. Sorry, I'm taking notes on timestamps.
Does that look like me, you think?
Malcolm? I mean, kind of. Next up at UFC 286, we've got Jake Hadley taking on Malcolm Gordon. Jake Hadley, 9-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the submission win over Connecticut's own Carlos Candelario. Malcolm Gordon's 14-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off the loss to Muhammad Mokaev. And this is another interesting fight to break down. I think a lot of people, Jakey boy, think that this is an easy slam dunk card, and a lot of people are going to be in a lot of trouble. Jake Hadley, pretty well-rounded guy. He's got solid boxing, real nice jabs, solid timing on his feet, decent takedowns, aggressive BJJ. He's a good fighter. He had regional promotional titles, and he's good, well-rounded guy, mostly his hands, but worked in some grappling. We saw that in his last fight. That Carlos Candelario win was interesting, though. It was a close first round. And Jake, similar to Jacob, is pale, see-through, white bread white.
I would never talk to you like this. I think that's the difference between me and you. I would never disrespect you like this.
I wouldn't disrespect The Rock. I mean, there's tiers in life.
He was looking good at the Grammys. Did you see that rose-colored suit he was wearing? Oh,
no.
What a hunk, huh?
Anyway, similar to Jacob, the brothers in pale wear the damage. Jake Hadley wore every single strike that came his way.
I doubt he's a survivor. He
looks like he has cancer right now.
Well, that means he hasn't beat it yet, so he's not a survivor yet.
And for anybody new here, Jacob had a mole removed. I pointed
the wrong side.
Yeah, for anybody new here, Jacob had a mole removed and now calls himself a cancer survivor.
That's a mole?
It was a mole. It's just not my fault. It was a hatchet job, but it was a mole. It wasn't a mole. Anyway, he wore all the damage. So you're going to see Carlos Candelario was submitted by Jake Hadley, but the fight was a little closer than you remember it. He's taking on Malcolm Gordon. Malcolm Gordon is a very interesting guy to break down, especially after the Muhammad Mokaev fight. He's a BJJ black belt. His striking is pretty decent. He's got a high guard. He comes forward. And he does get taken down, but we saw in that Muhammad Mokaev fight, he picked that dude up. He slammed him. He had his back. At one point, it looked like Malcolm Gordon was going to beat Muhammad Mokaev. But then Gordon...
If he had about 20 more seconds in the second round, it could have got very interesting.
The problem is Malcolm Gordon finds a way to lose these fights. He's 14-6. All 6 losses are finishes. And even that Muhammad Mokaev fight, he just needed to hang on for 30 more seconds. Found a way to lose. And what I think is happening here, because a lot of people are liking Malcolm Gordon, and the odds don't necessarily reflect that because Jake Hadley's becoming a larger and larger favorite. I think Jake Hadley should be like a minus 500 favorite. A minus 600 favorite. I think Malcolm Gordon is very good. The problem is he's chinny. He gets submitted. And I think we're giving him way too much credit for the Muhammad Mokaev fight because I think we've learned Muhammad Mokaev is not a killer. Muhammad Mokaev is perfectly fine. I'm taking some of these notes from our website guy, Josh. He's perfectly fine just taking people down and hanging out. And Malcolm Gordon is a dog. He's got some dog in him. He's not the more skilled fighter in this matchup. Jake Hadley should be able to work him on his feet, Jake Hadley should be able to take him down and survive any weird submissions that come his way. I think Jake Hadley beats the crap out of Malcolm Gordon, but if he is the dog that we saw in the last fight, it could be close, could be a parlay buster. I just don't see that. You obviously disagree.
I don't disagree. I think Jake Hadley is the better fighter. I think he wins the fight because he does have the advantage on the feet and should be good enough on the ground to withstand the crazy scrambles of Malcolm Gordon. I'm just saying it's a very dangerous fight for Jake Hadley because Malcolm Gordon, as you mentioned, is a wild dude. That guy goes out on his shield. 6 losses, all of them finishes. He does not give a fuck if he's getting knocked out, getting submitted. He is going to take chances in there, and that is dangerous for a guy like Jake Hadley who, yes, he is a good grappler, but he will just stay on his back and try to work submissions there. Now, he's very good against Alan Nascimento. He couldn't get up, and that's how he lost that fight. So we've seen him lose a fight because he was out-grappled before. The difference is Malcolm Gordon is not a lay-and-pray, hold-you-down type of grappler. He is going to get aggressive. He is going to work for submissions, and Jake Hadley should be able to sweep him in those positions. But because he is aggressive, sometimes weird things do happen, and I feel like this fight is going to be on the ground eventually. Malcolm is probably going to engage in a clinch. Jake Hadley's very well-versed on the ground, so instead of defending, he probably will just go to the ground, try to win the scramble there. And in scrambles with high-level guys like this, especially a high-level guy like Malcolm Gordon, we saw him sweep one of the most dominant, what's supposed to be the most dominant grappler coming up in Mokaev. He swept him, he took him down, he got his back. That can happen to Jake Hadley. Do not be surprised if that happens. Now, Jake should be able to survive. Mokaev survived, Jake should be able to survive, but this is a very, very dangerous fight for Jake Hadley. He needs to keep this on the feet. Watch out for the wild stuff, because even on the feet, Malcolm will throw wild stuff. So he goes out on his shield, and those guys are always dangerous. You will never have to tell Malcolm, hey, you got to do more. That guy will be in there to try to win this fight. Jake's got to be careful. He should have all the tools, though, but it's dangerous. I have been a parlay, and I'm a little bit worried about it. So.
Yeah, I don't have Jake Hadley in anything. And I'm much more... I have their ages wrong, by the way. Jake Hadley is 26. Malcolm Gordon's 32.
Holy shit, that's way wrong.
Yeah, I must have just...
Are you embarrassed about it?
Nah, not really.
Not really? Because you don't really care?
I'll just update it.
Nah, you don't really care.
Correctly.
Nah, I mean, I get it. Just different levels of effort.
Different levels of effort. Sure. I
was streaming for 7 hours on Saturday.
Congratulations. Appreciate it.
Go ahead.
And you get paid for your time.
Say it again.
Okay. Good job doing your job.
Thank you.
Anyway, Jake Hadley, I don't think this is very close. I think it should be much wider odds. I get what you're saying, and the Malcolm Gordon in that last fight who did not quit. Like I'm dogging him for finding a way to lose, which he does find a way to get finished. Like he just figures it out.
Right.
But he did show he's got some heart, but I think it was a little misleading because he found heart, he found a way to not he did end up getting finished. He found a way to survive a little longer than usual because Mokaev is not dangerous. He's not dangerous.
Oh.
Well, we'll break down Mokaev in a little bit. He's a submission threat, but he's not dangerous. And Malcolm Gordon's a decent BJJ black belt, so he wasn't too worried until
I'm an 8th degree coral belt.
Congratulations on all your success. I would love to see some of your tapes and medals. Do you have any to share?
I would love to put you in a go-go plata, and you'll really understand then.
I'll send you $50 if you explain to me what a go-go plata is correctly.
You take your leg, and you have something with your arm around their neck, and you're basically choking them with your shin like that, and you're pulling it. You gotta the left leg is over, this one is across, and you're pulling down, so like they're crossed like this, the legs. It's almost like a triangle, but you're choking them with your shin.
No.
It's pretty close.
It's 75% there.
Yeah, you're pretty impressed with
an omoplata is the leg is over the arm, you're sitting up, you're cranking it. A go-go plata is the leg is over the arm, it does go under the chin, and then you're pulling down, but it's not a 2-leg deal.
Okay, well, I got it. So I actually added more to when I do. I like to add that extra. I like to add that extra, little oomph. I'm trying to snap. I'm not trying to choke people. I'm trying to fucking snap necks in there. Is when I'm rolling. I'm not choking anyone out.
Congratulations again on all your jiu-jitsu success.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, this really is off the rails. It's a
I
pay-per-view
know.
too.
I know.
This is when we
I'm
get
sorry,
like
guys.
we should.
Guys.
The pay-per-view should be honed in.
And it's my fault.
100%.
I know. It's my fault.
Okay. It just felt good to hear it.
I know. It really is my fault.
It felt good to hear
I know
it.
what is my fault. I'm very self-aware.
Okay. Well, you keep insisting you're not 5'6", so you're not that self-aware. Your mirrors are wrong, but you understand your personality needs quite a bit of work, which is fair. Very good job. You mentioned you have Jake Hadley in a parlay. Premium members, you can see that full parlay. I don't have a bet on Jake Hadley. Even though I was the one who was far more confident in Jake Hadley than Jake Lyons.
You felt good about that one. You felt good about that one. You were like, Jake Hadley, Jake Lyons. Okay, yeah, nailed it.
Well, I didn't stutter, but yeah. I'm the one who's more confident in Jake than you are, but I didn't bet on him because I'm being a little conservative on this card.
I've got some bets on the other side
of the paywall. WeWantPicks.com, $10 a month. You can unlock all of the bets. Jakey boy, when people tail our bets, Jake is feast or famine. He's the one. He'll be up 10 units. He'll be down.
I'll be up 15, 285, up 15. Let's not get it twisted.
Historically, you do crush pay-per-views.
Well, you just jinx the shit out of that, but yeah.
Yeah, blame it on me. Next up, at UFC 286, we have Christian Leroy Duncan, and he's taking on Dusko Todorovic. Christian Leroy Duncan is 7-0 in his career with 6 stoppage wins. He's taking on Dusko Todorovic, and the official is like, I can't even do like the official one.
It's Dusko, by the way. Not
it's
Dusko.
Dusko, and then I can't even.
Todorovic.
Yeah.
Dusko Todorovic.
Anyway, he's 12-3 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over the very durable Jordan Wright. Christian Leroy Duncan, this guy, solid UFC debut here. He's a high-pressure fighter, 6 finishes in 7 fights. He's got championships in like multiple regional promotions. I think he's going to have some success in this fight and in the UFC. The odds, the line movement feels that way as well. He's a powerful striker. He comes forward. He's got pressure. He's got speed. He's got creativity. He throws anything and everything at his opponents with no regard with what comes back his way. He's sloppy, but he is very, very dangerous. Solid ground and pound as well if he ends up on top. Similar to how we broke down Vettori last week. Sort of a similar guy there in can be wild, can wrestle if he needs to, can throw hard and just sort of keep coming forward. He's fighting on Dusko Todorovic, who's a technical striker. He's got power. He has takedowns. Offensive BJJ sort of rounds him out a bit. High volume guy. It lands almost 6 significant strikes per minute. But there are questions about his chin. Therefore, I think Leroy Duncan's going to win this fight. I think he's going to come forward, bomb away, ultimately connect. I think that's set up on purpose. I think that's what the UFC is looking for. But Dusko's not a bum. He's not a bum. He can be chinny at times, but he's going to be the more technical guy in this matchup. He's not going to have more power, but he does have power. He has takedowns. He is the UFC vet. And if we also learned anything from last week, you should avoid UFC debuts. I think Christian Leroy Duncan...
SD Dumas won that fight. I think we all agree with that.
He was literally finished, but I hear you.
Debatable.
Okay. I think Christian Leroy Duncan should win this fight. I think he's going to bomb away, find that chin. Dusko's chin is not the best, and obviously over time it's not going to get any better. But there's that old adage, it's mostly for boxing, but you can take it over to MMA. You box a brawler, you brawl a boxer. And if Dusko's going to keep it technical and he's going to box the brawler, he can stay on the outside, keep him at the end of his strikes, and take this fight. Absolutely. But I do think Christian wins. I'm probably not going to bet here. Does not go the distance is the way to go. It's a little bit juiced. But Christian's going to be the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I started watching these fighters in the film on Sunday for my breakdown, this was the first money line bet I placed because I think it's still good value. I got it early for the premium members. I posted that immediately, so they got a little bit better value you can get now. But I think this is one of the rare value plays for favorites on this card because there's a lot of favorites on this card that we just mentioned. Jake Hadley, we'll mention Jack Shore. There's a few people that it's like they're already kind of out of range to really trust the bet. I still think there's good value in Christian because you nailed it. If it's a striking matchup, he should have the power, and he should have the gas tank. I mean, Dusko is a guy that, in this matchup, I think he needs to wrestle. He's shown wrestling, and he's won fights kind of with wrestling. He needs to wrestle in this matchup. The issue is when he wrestles, he's got okay takedowns, but he doesn't have great control. And even when he does have control, he still will gas. I mean, he does not have a great gas tank. And I know Christian is only 7-0 as a pro, but this guy had like 25 amateur fights or something absolutely absurd. So it looks like he's inexperienced. He's got all the experience in the world. I have no idea why he fought 20-something times as an amateur, but Angelo nailed it. He's a fantastic striker. He's a pressure striker. He's a powerful striker. And Dusko, he kind of fights with his hands down. He does some wild stuff in there. He does have power in his own, but, he does get hit. He does get tired. Christian, in front of the home fans, I think he really shows out. This is a great matchup for him because I don't think Dusko is dangerous enough on the feet to really disrupt it and definitely not dangerous enough on the ground to control the fight there. So Christian should be able to do whatever he wants. I still love the value at whatever the odds are now, minus 210, minus 200, whatever it is. I think he absolutely should dominate this fight and walk out of there and get the crowd pretty excited. Probably finish.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit on the same page. We'll see. I wish this was a 2.5 line, but we weren't that lucky. It is a 1.5 line, but we will see.
She's so lucky. She's a star, and she's with the broken. Do you know that song, though?
I do know that song.
Yeah.
You look for every chance to sing, to the point where it's like I genuinely think you have an incredible voice. And you want it. You want it to be something.
I don't think I have an incredible voice. I fucking know I have an incredible. I was in advanced choir. I literally was a handpicked advanced choir. I've talked about it before. We literally went around the malls and sang. That's why it's literally I am a singer at my core, and I think it translates well over the microphone. So yeah, I'm gonna bless the people with my angelic voice.
No, hey, congratulations on being in choir.
Well, I think Justin Timberlake was in choir, and he seems to be doing all right. He was he was on the fucking Disney Channel, for Christ's sake. You going to make fun of me if I was on the Disney Channel? Cutting those checks? Banging those women?
The Disney girls? Congrats. Pervert. $8,700 in DraftKings is probably worth it. I do think I will spend that money on Christian Duncan in DraftKings. I assume you'll do the same.
I agree.
Great. Great. But Dusko is technical. I don't think it's going to matter here.
I don't think he's that technical. I disagree with the technicality of that. I think he's a little sloppy.
What are his stats?
He was getting fucking bullied by Jordan Wright, which is never a good situation.
And yeah, I mean, he did get it done, but
well, it's because Jordan Wright just the Romanov of the whatever division he's going to fight in. He
was out grappled in the first round. And then he completely reset himself to come out in the second and then finish Jordan Wright. So,
well, I mean,
listen,
Jordan Wright
I
was
hear
just absolutely gassed. So I could
we're on the
Jordan
same
Wright
page.
That second round.
We're on the same page. We both think Leroy Duncan wins this fight. But we agree. Become a premium member, guys. I promise you it is worth it.
This shit's a joke.
Next up, at UFC 286, we have the newly added Lerone Murphy versus Gabriel Santos fight. Lerone Murphy is 11-0 overall, 4-0-1 in his last 5, coming off that win over Makwan Amirkhani a little more than a year ago. He's taking on Gabriel Santos, who is also undefeated and making his short notice UFC debut. Lerone was on this card, lost his opponent, so then they found Gabriel, threw him on. What's interesting about this is last week we had a similar situation, and the favorite was a massive favorite, right? A massive favorite. The line moved, like, oh, we got a short notice opponent. That's not what's happening to Lerone. He opened up at a minus 275 favorite, was bet down to a minus 160, and he's the one who was on the card. The short notice opponent is who's getting the betting love here. And if you're a premium member, keep an eye on that line movement tracker for exactly these reasons, because your instincts might have been like, oh, as soon as that Lerone Murphy line comes out, I'm going to hit it because it's going to move. And then it did move, just not that direction. But Lerone's a good striker. He's he moves really well. He's got a ton of power. He'll light up your body. He'll just completely step out of the pocket and then move away. His footwork is very good. He's dangerous on his feet. Takedown defense is a little bit low, but he does really well scrambling back up if he's taken down. He's taking on Gabriel Santos. He's an aggressive guy. He's going to charge forward like old school Vitor Belfort, just throwing 1-2s running across the cage. And then when he's backed up all the way to the cage, he's going to work in takedowns, get some ground and pound, work submissions from there. He's not technical in his striking, but he throws fast and he throws hard. He can be hittable, but it doesn't matter. His striking's really there just to overwhelm you and work those takedowns. There's a lot of question marks when you get these late additions to the card. And to make it even more complicated, Lerone Murphy's been out for more than a year. So he's been out for more than a year. He's got a short notice opponent, a very good undefeated opponent who I'm always a little weary of some of these undefeated guys because you never know, is he going to be an absolute bum and he's been overrated fighting cans, or is he on his way to doing something huge? I do think Lerone Murphy wins this fight. These odds are probably where they should be. Minus 275 was a little steep. Gabriel Santos is undefeated. He's beating people. He's going out there. He's putting it on. I like Lerone Murphy to win. I think he's dangerous. I think he can scramble back up to his feet. He's the one with the full camp. I think he gets it done, but I'm going to stay very, very far away from this fight with bets. What do you think?
I stopped myself from singing it again right there. I don't know if you. I'm gonna put it on. Yeah, but I had to show it off anyway for the people. You know what I mean? But yeah, Lerone should be the better striker in this matchup, and hopefully for Lerone, that is what this comes down to. Now, Gabriel, as you mentioned, does want to go to the wrestling, does want to go to the grappling. That's where he wants to shine, but he's no slouch on the feet, and he will throw heavy. So Lerone's definitely got to be careful. But he should be definitely the better striker in this matchup. But he just has such glaring holes in his defensive wrestling, in his grappling, that if Gabriel gets this fight to the ground, it is going to be a uh-oh moment for Lerone in that situation, because Gabriel is no joke in the wrestling, in the grappling, in the control, in the submissions. So my confidence level right now, I think those odds are correct. It's probably like a 5 or a 6 for Lerone. But if I see him stuff that first takedown, I mean, my confidence goes to an 8 or a 9 in this matchup, because he should be definitely the better striker. So it's just going to kind of come down to that first shot. Does he defend it well, or is he struggling? If he gets taken down, if he's getting control, it's like, uh-oh, because that could pose issues for the rest of the fight for a guy like Lerone Murphy. He's been taken down before. He does win those fights. He's an undefeated fighter, so he does figure it out. But you just never want to be there. And if I have money on Lerone Murphy, I don't want to see him on the ground. I don't want to see him on his back at all. If he defends it, fine. You should feel good about your money. I am going to Lerone Murphy in this matchup because he does have a glaring advantage on the feet, and I think that his takedown defense is improving enough. It seems like every fight it's getting better and better and better. So short notice. If this was not short notice, I will say, if this was not short notice, I'm thinking more about Gabriel in this matchup, but the short notice does throw me off a little bit, especially with a wrestling game plan. What he should have. So Lerone Murphy's a play. We'll see if he can defend it.
We're on the same page for sure. And like you said, you worded it well. You don't do that often, but you worded it well when you said he's undefeated. He's figured this out before.
Lose yourself in the music. This is a little rap I wrote. Lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better definitely. I literally was going to sing the whole goddamn song if you let me, but I couldn't do it.
I mean,
this is bad. Really, this is bad. And I literally apologize for my behavior tonight.
Yeah, well, we'll see when it's time to pay this month. We'll see what the numbers look like, and we'll go from there.
I get it. We'll have our meeting.
I'll put you on a performance improvement plan, and it's just you watching clips of you not doing what you're supposed to do. Jacob, can you explain your mindset here? Jacob, were you under the influence during this moment? It's just you having sex with your chair.
Oh, when I lost my banana.
You didn't lose it. You swallowed it without chewing. $2 super chat from Quint Lazenby. Quint says, like the stream. Thank you very much, Quint. And I agree. You guys.
Let's get those likes up.
You're just an absolute mess. Oh, boy.
I bring the energy.
It is what it is. The Lerone Murphy.
That's a funny comment. Angelo's in a good mood today because you are rolling with everything pretty well. Because it is a disaster.
I'm not as, and I was nervous about today because my daughter.
Not a lot of mouse slams today, which is good. That's how you know.
Well, that's usually on the call-in show, which will be Thursday. Anyway, Lerone Murphy is both of our picks. He should get it done. The short notice is helpful. $8,300 in DraftKings. That's a great price for an undefeated guy who has power in his hands, who has a last-minute short notice opponent. It really is. So I will probably throw Lerone Murphy in my DraftKings lineup, even though I'm not going to spend real money on bets. I think in DraftKings, $8,300 is solid. It's a solid play.
He should be better. There's no doubt about that. He should be better.
Yeah. So Lerone Murphy in DraftKings. I don't have a bet on him. A little too skittish for that. Next up at UFC 286, we have the much talked about Muhammad Mokaev taking on UFC newcomer Jafel Filho. Muhammad Mokaev is 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the submission win over Malcolm Gordon. Jafel Filho is 5-0 in his last 5, coming off a Contender Series win to earn an official UFC slot. And we know Muhammad Mokaev at this point, right? He's a nasty wrestler. He's just going to shoot, wrestle over and over again. He had a very long amateur career, so even though he only has 8 pro fights, he has a ton of experience. He has 3 fights in the UFC with 18 takedowns. He's coming off that submission win over Malcolm Gordon where there were some holes poked in his game, some wind taken out of his sails. Malcolm Gordon was supposed to blow through that guy, and if you look at Tapology, he did. But if you watch the fight, he had his back taken, he was almost submitted, he was picked up, he was slammed, he was swept. So some holes in the, I don't know if it's grappling or if Muhammad Mokaev just takes too many risks. I don't know what it is, but I think we can say he's very talented. You can trust him to come out there and wrestle his ass off, but he's not dangerous. He's not out there trying to rip people's heads off. He's out there trying to get takedowns in control time. And the Charles Johnson fight, how many takedowns did he have in that? 10, 11, something absurd? All that means is these people are standing up on him. Islam's not getting that many takedowns in his fights because when he takes you down, for the most part, you're not just standing right back up. Anyway.
Oh, it's kind of like Usman. Just can't hold people down.
Jafel Filho, very fast-paced guy. He's going to engage in a firefight or look to work takedowns. He can get wild with his striking, but he's fast. He throws heat. His takedown defense is solid. His offensive takedowns, they're there as well. He's mostly looking to strike with you, but if you pressure him and he doesn't like it, he will back up, look to clinch, look to get a takedown. Overall, solid striker who can set a pace. Muhammad Mokaev should win this fight. He should win this fight. He should do what he does. Get a million takedowns, a bunch of control time, maybe get in a little bit of trouble, and then work his way out of it. But there's all this talk. He's talking about my shoulder. I needed surgery. I should get surgery, but I'm not going to get it. I'll be fine for this fight. That's the type of arrogant bullshit. He's coming off that Malcolm Gordon fight, acting like he beat a world champion. He barely beat a guy the UFC was begging to cut. And I don't want to say barely beat because he finished him, but he was in some trouble that he shouldn't have been in that fight. So Mokaev is going to be the pick. He should absolutely go out there, wrestle, get it done. I have to assume that his shoulder works and it works well enough to go out there and fight. But the reality is the fact that he's talking about it, oh, I need surgery, but I'm not going to get it, it's a little bit of a concern. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, and somebody said, I wonder if he's bullshitting about his shoulder. He is not, bullshitting. This was December 30th. You can't really see the caption, but you can see he's in a sling. And he basically said he needs shoulder surgery. He said that he was in, I think, practice, and he either picked somebody up or somebody picked him up, slammed him, dislocated his shoulder, said, I need surgery, December 30th. That was about 10 or 11 weeks ago. And then a couple weeks later, decided, I think I can just kind of work through it, rehab it. Now, when I do my Google research, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical doctor. I was very close. I actually kind of changed my mind at last. I was in medical school. I had a year left my residency, changed my mind. I wanted to do this instead, so I put that on the back burner. Parents are still a little bit upset about that. So I'm not a doctor officially, but on Google, they say that a shoulder injury takes about 12 to 16 weeks to fully heal. Now that is if you're not doing anything with it, right? If you're just sitting there, you have it in a sling for a while, you're not doing anything with it. To fully heal a dislocated shoulder is like 12 to 16 weeks. It has been 11 weeks since he dislocated his shoulder, and I guarantee he hasn't been just not doing anything with it. I'm sure he's doing everything he can with it in practice without like really, really straining it. I'm sure it still hurts. He says it still kind of bothers him, but he can work through it. And in that interview, when he's talking about his shoulder, he says, I won't have any excuses after the fight. Why would you need excuses if you're going to win, Mokaev? Why are you even talking about, I won't have any excuses? That's if you lose. That's saying if I lose, I won't have any excuses. Why are you even entertaining that idea, Mokaev? That's a red flag to me. Minus 800 at this point for him is absolutely insane. Even with a good shoulder, as Angelo mentioned, we talked about, he was struggling and losing positions against Malcolm Gordon. This guy, Filho, knows what the hell he's doing. He's a 14-2 fighter, very experienced, knows what he's doing on the ground, in sweeps, in positions. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Filho's winning or going to win the fight. I think Mokaev should win the fight, but we saw what happened with TJ Dillashaw with a bad shoulder. A bad shoulder when you're a striker, I don't think it matters as much because you can kind of hide it. You have other tools. You have your legs. You can throw kicks. You can throw different combinations. You can do different things. When you're wrestling, and correct me if I'm wrong, Angelo, without a shoulder to be able to post and do all this stuff, I feel like it would be a detriment if he has any sort of injury with his shoulder. He should win, but Jesus Christ, I wouldn't put him in a fucking thing this week.
I agree, and he's not even, we talked about it, right? The reason he gets so many takedowns, he's not really a control guy. So it's not even like he just has to grit through, get the takedown, and then from there he's good. He
hasn't been just Chimaeving everyone. Chimaev came in and just absolutely dominated the first 4 or 5 people that he fought. Mokaev did that in the first fight, but ever since then it's been like, okay, what's going on here?
He was taken down in the first fight.
Yeah.
He got the submission, but he was taken down against Cody Durden, right?
I can't remember.
I forget who it was, but he was taken down. And listen, Muhammad Mokaev should win. Don't take this the warning as we're picking Jafel Filho. We both very much think Muhammad Mokaev is going to win this fight. The alarms and red flags raised about his shoulder are the reason that we're just going to stay away. The odds aren't great anymore anyway, or never were. And the shoulder stuff is concerning. So Muhammad Mokaev is not in the safety parlay, even though he's such a tremendous favorite, because there's way more risk than value. There just is.
I can't believe the odds didn't move on that news. I literally can't believe it. I mean, that is literally people are talking about it in the chat and stuff. Shoulder. I know somebody that's had shoulder injuries. Those things take forever. I mean, you just saw Jiri had shoulder surgery. Took a year off because that's how long it takes to recover from shoulder surgery and stuff like that. Now, he didn't have surgery, but it might even be worse because he didn't. So,
yeah, I mean, and obviously there's levels to all of this. Could have just, not every shoulder injury is equal, right? TJ Dillashaw's is like,
I mean, he literally made the post of, I dislocated, I need surgery.
Yes.
So.
No, listen, I hear you. And we're on the same side. I still think Muhammad Mokaev wins this fight because, frankly, if it was that bad, he wouldn't fight. He has management. He's a giant prospect. Like, they're building him up the right way. And if he was, in bad pain and wasn't training, somebody would likely be in his ear and be like, dude, don't do it.
There's a lot of these people have a lot of yes men around them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that as well.
I mean, you're right, but his level's a little different, right? Like, he's supposed to be a big deal.
So.
Anyway,
I mean, I would hope so. So. Because I don't think anyone wants him to lose. He's a fun guy. He's a fun prospect, so.
No, I don't want him to lose either. Yeah, exactly. I want him to continue to go out there and win. It'd be fun.
I don't want him to come in with a bum shoulder and get steamrolled. I mean, that's no fun for anyone. So I hope he's okay.
I completely agree. If he loses, you want him to lose like if Malcolm Gordon sucked that up. You don't want him to TJ Dillashaw lose because then you hate his guts. And after that TJ Dillashaw news of, my shoulder was hurt, this, that, the other thing, that's what started the downward spiral of not being able to bet on UFC in some places.
Right.
James Krause put the nail in that coffin. I'm surprised Muhammad Mokaev is discussing this open. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? You literally could be...
I mean, people say that because they think that they might lose, and they're trying to... I won't have any excuse. Well, you're making the excuse right now, ahead of time. Of course, afterwards, you're going to be like, oh, no excuses, but you literally already made your excuse in case you lose. I mean, it's already there. I mean, that's the reason why you do it.
No, I hear it. Listen, he's a minus 800 favorite for a reason. His wrestling is very dominant. His jiu-jitsu is very good. He should be able to get the takedowns, avoid any submission attempts, and just do that for 15 minutes or so. Mokaev should absolutely win this fight. He's the favorite for a reason. I'm going to avoid the odds are just way too wide, and there's the question marks about the shoulder injury. If we were positive this dude was 100%, yeah, you know what? It is what it is, but we're not.
Hey, you know what?
So no bets. Hey, my guy.
Hey.
WeOwnPicks.com/bets. If you sign up with any one of our affiliate partners using our link, the betting affiliate partner, the sportsbook affiliates, I'll send you $50 as a thank you. WeOwnPicks.com/bets. Click the link, sign up, make a deposit. I will send you $50 as a thank you, and you can then take those $50 and become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. We've given you more than 21 units of net profit in 2023 alone. This year alone, only the events in this calendar year, we've given you more than 20 units of net profit. That means you got your bet money back and then 21 units. We don't pay for all the things.
What in the world happened there? That scared me.
I don't know.
But Jesus out of me. I thought we were done.
Luckily, it was during a transition. Can you check is the YouTube live stream still up?
Oh, I pray to God. If it's not, I'm going to whip this dick out.
Please don't.
Looks like it's still live to me.
Okay. Yeah, no, melon, I guess. Next up, at UFC 286, we have Sam Patterson taking on Yanal Ashmoz. Sam Patterson, 10-1 in his career. He's coming off a submission win on the Contender Series. Yanal Ashmoz is undefeated in his career with 5 stoppage wins. And Sam Patterson's very tall. He's a long striker. He's an insane 6 feet, 4 inches tall. And while he does not really use his length well for striking, like he's super long, super tall, he doesn't use that length for striking well. On the ground, he's always looking for something. He's those ridiculous limbs. He is Gumbying submissions, Gumbying his way into scrambles, making stuff happen with almost little effort because he is so long in those exchanges. Yanal Ashmoz is a well-rounded guy who does a great job adjusting in fights. He's going to come out as a striker, throw heavy, work in spinning attacks, and then he's going to adjust to the wrestling if he's not getting what he's supposed to get in the striking exchange. He's got a solid chin, a solid base. He can be heavy on top if he gets the takedown. There's nothing like explicitly amazing about this guy, but he's going to come forward. He's going to bomb. He's going to wrestle. He's a tough guy. And I like Yanal Ashmoz in this fight. I do not know why Sam Patterson is such a big favorite. I don't, and I get it's 260, it's not 500, but I really don't know why. Yeah, he's stupid long, and on the ground, he's like always like trying to make something happen, but he gets hit. He is very, very hittable. If you go look at that Felipe fight, yeah, he won that fight. He caught him rushing in. The reason he was rushing in is because he was having so much success just blasting Sam Patterson in the face. So I like Yanal Ashmoz to win this fight. I got a quarter of a unit on him at plus 230. The line's been like moving up and down a little bit. I threw $25. A unit for me is 100. I threw $25 at him at plus 230. I think he can beat Sam Patterson. When Jacob was doing his Twitter breakdown, I said, Sam Patterson sucks, huh? And you said, I'm not there yet. And then a few hours later, you're like, yeah, he sucks. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Someone put in the chat. Someone put in the chat Ichabod Crane, which is really funny. I knew the name, but I had to just Google it, and it's like, oh yeah, like Ichabod. Yeah, I think that, and this is going to sound super disrespectful. So Sam, if you're watching this, I do apologize. But sometimes when he's striking, it literally is like a high schooler fighting, like when they, like this, so he's throwing the strikes with the chin straight up in the air. I mean, he just holds his chin straight up in the air. And the combinations and the strikes that he throws, there's no real power behind him. There's no real speed. You don't see that snap behind him. They're just kind of thrown out there, chin up in the air. I hate the way that he strikes, especially against a guy like Yanal. I assume, I wasn't here for the whole thing, but I assume you mentioned, I mean, he's an aggressive guy. He's basically like a little pit bull in there with his striking, with his wrestling. He is nonstop. I don't really see a gas tank issue. We'll see UFC, weird things can happen. Maybe he does get tired, but, Sam is a tall guy, but that's pretty much all you hear is he's so tall. He's so tall. He looks so tall. It's like, because he really doesn't do anything else. Yes, he looks like an imposing figure, and if he is in a situation where he's on your back, that's where his length really becomes an issue for people. Those long arms, those long legs, people really having a hard time getting up when they do. He can't snatch things up with those long arms, but I think Yanal comes in, gets in his face, really kind of overwhelms him in the striking. If he wants to go to the wrestling, I think he can get some takedowns because Sam will play off his back. And I just don't see Sam as a super dangerous guy unless he is on the back of Yanal, which I just don't see him doing in this matchup. So I think striking, he's in danger because he holds that chin up against a striker like Yanal. And on the ground, I think Yanal could just kind of control him for as long as it takes. And Sam, again, this is going to be disrespectful, doesn't seem like that guy that's got a lot of dog in him. I mean, he just doesn't come across as that bite down. When he's in the striking, it's almost like he doesn't really like to get hit. You know, he wants to keep things clean. In the grappling, he's more of the jiu-jitsu guy than the ground and pound guy. I think he likes everything nice and clean, and Yanal is not going to give him that fight. I 100% agree. We're both on the big dog here.
Yeah. So,
What's your dog sound like? What's your dog sound like?
Scout? I have a beagle. It's awful.
No, your dog. Like if you have a dog inside you, what's it sound? That's mine.
You're so manly.
Let's hear yours.
I'm not barking like a dog on my.
That's
own
my
podcast.
favorite. That was my favorite TikTok for a while. What's your gun sound like? And people like, or like, like just all the different sounds. People would be like, "What's your gun sound like?" All different stuff. A lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds like an absolute blast. Anyway, we're both on the underdog here, one of the bigger underdogs on the card that we're giving some credence to. You mentioned, I'm going to be a little disrespectful, Sam, if you're watching this. What is funny, so every video, every fight we break down, we chop it up, we tweet it, we tag the fighters in it. We're not, like, we're going to talk about people. Here you go. Like, this is what we said about you. Not looking for trouble, but, pretend people don't exist.
I'm always looking
for trouble.
And
Jacob always calls a lot of these guys mental midgets. And, we
true. I've never met a group of athletes that are so mentally weak than fighters. It is unreal. I've obviously been around world-class athletes my entire life, and when it comes to fighters, the fact that they are searching out stuff and after fights looking for stuff, they're watching stuff. I mean, I had people threaten my life, basically. It is crazy how mentally weak these fighters are, and we just had a nice interaction with a couple of them. Carl Williams reached out, loved my breakdown. By the way, he said, "Thank you, Jacob, for the support." Another fighter reached out. Didn't really like my breakdown as much.
Veronica Macedo commented.
Oh, yeah, Veronica Hardy reached out and to your video, watched your video, and said she hopes she doesn't look bad or doesn't look horrible or something like that.
Because I said 3 years away, who knows, like whatever. But
and then SD Dumas and Josh Frem got in a little argument in our mentions. Because Josh Frem was like, "You guys should do more research next time."
Well, that's what was so funny.
And then SD Dumas was like, "Listen, if we fought again, I would beat your ass. You thinking you actually beat me?" It's like, what? That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, it is fun. The best part about that is that Josh Frem got that win, his first ever UFC win. And then the next day, he's just on Twitter searching for his name. We weren't the only thing he commented on. Every time he searched his name, and actually, I think he searched SD Dumas's name because there were a lot of comments he made on people's tweets that are like, "I'm betting SD Dumas," where Freem's name wasn't mentioned. And he was like, "Do more research. Do more research." And it's like, why do you care that much? But then we'll get like Tabitha Ricci retweets us and like, "Oh, thanks, guys."
Retweeted me specifically. Amanda Hebas liked our video. Yeah, she did like our breakdown. So
anyway, this is turning into like a weird.
So, and I don't know if everyone saw this. I don't know if you've seen this, Angelo.
You went to CVS. Congrats. Anyway, the whole point of that was I was just shitting on. You say they're mentally weak. I don't care, but like the positive interactions are great. But you're saying they're mentally weak, and the Josh Frem thing is so funny. Even in a win. Couldn't help himself.
I mean, Joseph Holm literally got upset that I said that he sucks, threatened to beat me up, and then went into the octagon and absolutely fucking sucked. I mean, I was like, this guy sucks, and then he turns out he sucks.
That was solid. Anyway, we're both on the underdog here. We do have a $20 super chat from Pepe Silva, Mr. Hebas. What do you think about Darren Till possibly boxing Logan Paul?
I mean, he smokes Logan Paul. Honestly, he probably loses to Jake. I don't know if he can beat the way I've seen Darren lately. I don't know if he can beat Jake, but Logan's not a boxer. So, I mean, he has boxed, but he's not really a boxer. Great in WWE, though. We agree with that. He's fantastic there.
Oh, 100%.
Man,
well, thank you very much.
He was born for that. I appreciate the 20, Pepe. You're always, you show up for the live stream. You do a lot of stuff for us, and we appreciate that.
No, thank you very much for the super chat for sure. And, yeah, I love all those freak show fights. I was hoping Jake Paul would win so we can get more freak show fights. So hopefully we do. Throw Nate Diaz in there. I love all those.
What about all the bare knuckle stuff coming up? That's a little wild. Who do you think's going to win that? Luke Rockhold or Mike Perry?
I don't know, but I'm here for it. I've never watched bare knuckle. I'm going to watch that fight. Should be a great card. Next up, at UFC 286, we have Chris Duncan, the second Duncan on this card. And DraftKings is funny because DraftKings is C. Duncan for both Chris Duncan and Christian Leroy Duncan.
How does that slip through the cracks like that?
Luckily it says
company?
the opponent's name as well.
I know,
in
but
the
still,
same line,
it's like, have some self-awareness. Holy shit.
No, I know. But anyway, we had Chris Duncan taking on Omar Morales. Chris Duncan 9-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, making his UFC debut. He's taking on Omar Morales, 11-3 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off 2 stoppage losses in a row. Chris Duncan, heavy-handed, tough as nails striker. He's never out of a fight. Even in the Contender Series, but not just the Contender Series, even his regional fights, you'll find it as well. He gets blasted. He looks like he's out. He somehow puts himself together, keeps coming forward, and then wins the fight. On the Contender Series, he got a knockout that way. Some of his regional fights, he's dropped, down and out, comes back, puts it together, wins a decision. Chris Duncan is a dog. We talk about have that dog in him. He's an absolute dog. That's your dog. That's a good dog. Taking on Omar Morales.
That's a good dog. You got a little bit too into character there. You a furry?
Omar Morales
not a no. That was not a no.
Solid kickboxer, really nice kick, solid takedown defense at 63%. He's strong. He likes to come forward. He does that really well, and then he ends all of his combinations with that forward step. So before you know it, you're in these exchanges with him, and all of a sudden you're backed up against the cage. All of a sudden he's holding center, and you've made no actual progress. He doesn't wrestle often, but he has a 100% takedown accuracy. He's got 3 attempts, 3 takedowns, and he's coming off that loss to Uros Medic where he was knocked down twice and KO'd in the second. I like Chris Duncan here. He's shown us how dangerous he is. He's shown us how tough he is. And you could look at him getting dropped 2 different ways. You can be like, this guy gets dropped like all the time. That's a problem. Or you can be like, he's tough as hell. Look at Gamrot. Granted, that's a wrestler, not a striker. Gamrot's dropped constantly, but it doesn't, other than the actual shock that he was dropped, he's not on ice skates. He's not almost finished. He just like dropped like a bag of dirt and then immediately starts fighting.
Colby does that same thing. Colby just drops to a knee and pops right back up. Literally.
Yeah.
He did it against Usman. He did it against Jorge. Just boom, boom. And he just smiles at him.
Chris Duncan's a little more affected than that, but he does compose himself, come back, doesn't stop. And it's a tale of 2 chins. I think Omar's chin is effectively gone. He's either chinny because he's getting dropped, or he's got an iron chin because he can't get put out. I think Chris wins this fight. I think he'll take damage, inflict damage. I think he'll get the win. I think he'll get it done. I do have a half of a unit moneyline bet on him at -108. Little touch better value right now. But I like Chris to get it done, so I just threw a little bit of money on there. I actually expected that line to move, and it didn't. I should have looked at my own line movement tracker. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm not going to argue too much on this side. I am on the Omar side. I think experience plays a big factor in this fight. I'm not going to harp on the fact that he does get dropped. And when he does get dropped, he defaults to the wrestling. Listen, Omar is coming off back-to-back losses, right? One of those at he did the 145 experiment. I have no idea how this guy made 145, but he made 145. He's back at 155. Chris Duncan is not going to have the relentless wrestling of Jonathan Pierce, right? So yes, we saw Jonathan Pierce kind of break down Omar and relentlessly wrestle him. It's not the same. It's not copy and paste. He got out wrestled here, so he's going to get out wrestled in this fight. 2 different fighters. Jonathan Pierce is absolutely relentless. Chris Duncan does have wrestling, but isn't that relentless? So I don't see him getting dominated in the grappling in that way. And I don't think that Chris Duncan is nearly as fast or as dynamic as a striker as Uros Medic. So when I look at that matchup, yes, he was getting outstruck. Yes, but he had some moments fights in there, he looked decent against the hands of Uros, and I just don't think Chris Duncan has the same speed. So coming in, I think Chris Duncan is a little bit slower than Uros, can't wrestle as good as Jonathan Pierce, and I think if you take those away from those fighters, Omar does a lot better in those fights. So it is a close fight. I'm not going to argue either side, crazily. Omar is my pick of this matchup. I think that he's just a little bit more technical, has the experience. Chris isn't going to have the speed of Uros, the wrestling of Jonathan, and Omar's going to be able to get it down. I think he touches up Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan defaults to the wrestling and really finds himself issues because Omar really is no joke on the ground. It's really kind of what he's known for, even though he does throw kind of wild.
Sure.
So Omar's a play.
No, listen, I threw that half a unit money on him. I liked it at even money. I like that dog. I like that Omar's chin seems to be fading or effectively gone.
That could have been a lot worse. That could have been a lot worse that last fight. It went down as a TKO or a KO, but it was like the ref he was still kind of with it. He was about to pull guard and stuff right when he was about to get like put out. So he wasn't like exactly like put out.
No, and DraftKings picked a side. They said Omar's a very, very slight favorite here. It's a 50-50 fight, essentially. I think Chris wins, so I'll take that 50-50 money. I only threw a half a unit on that.
It's gone.
If you want to become a premium member, sign up now. Unlock all of Jacob's bets. You don't like mine, I give mine away.
Do you want to bet on this fight? We don't have a fight to bet on.
No, not yet. We'll
here we go.
Something.
That's literally what I texted you earlier today. Oh, I already have a bet with the books. Can't bet.
Well, I don't. It's not even that I have a bet with the books. I'm just not. I threw a half a unit on it. If I was super
you never really make money line bets, so you must be pretty confident in it.
I always make money line bets because my bets are out a week before.
I know, but you usually have like 3 a card. So this is one of your 3, so it must be pretty sure thing here.
Guys, sign up to become a premium member now. It is only $10 a month. You're going to unlock all of our bets, including Jacob's. You're going to get the safety parlay, which is up more than 5 units in this year, in 2023. If you get the last 13 events, it's up 18 units. Last week, JJ screwed the third leg with the base hit. It has been successful overall. WeOwnPicks.com, only $10 a month. And speaking of premium members, we have had a bunch of people sign up in the last 20 minutes. Mark.
If you just signed up, say it in the chat. Woo! If you just signed up, say it in the chat.
Mark S. Sethis S. I'm not doing last names anymore. You guys gave me a hard time.
Yeah, Jesus.
Tom S. Another Tom T. And Brian L. Thank you all very much for signing up to become premium members. Enjoy. It is the best $10 value in the game.
If you're not a premium member, you're a bitch.
You're not a premium member.
Just kidding, but seriously.
Next up at UFC 286, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Jack Shore taking on Makwan, or the featured prelim, Makwan Amirkhani. Jack Shore is 16-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the first loss of his career, a submission loss to Ricky Simone. He's taking on Makwan Amirkhani, 17-8 overall, 1-4 in his last 5. He's coming off the knockout loss to Jonathan Pierce. Jack Shore is a very good grappler. He likes to move forward. He's constantly looking for a takedown. Both his wrestling and his striking are just forward pressure styles. He works in kicks really nicely. All around, really solid fighter with a solid striking differential. You're going to see that Ricky Simone submitted him. He was really clipped on his feet. So he actually, this like sort of contradicts itself. He looked good in the striking in that fight, then was clipped, dropped, and that's what led to the submission. So he wasn't like manhandled, pushed around, and then submitted. It was the strike.
Correct. You keep looking at me for guidance. You're doing good. You're doing good.
I'm not looking at you for guidance. You're not over here. You're here.
No. You keep looking at me. It's okay. You're doing fine. It's okay.
Anyway, you don't know what's on my screen.
I can see the
Jacob,
reflection
I'm looking
behind
at you right now.
I can see the reflection behind you. Yes, you can.
Okay.
Boom.
Where are you in the reflection?
Right there.
You're here?
Huh?
That's what I thought. He's taking on Makwan Amirkhani. Makwan Amirkhani is also a stud wrestler. He has averages, but you're so fucking annoying.
I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, because it's like still annoying. It's still annoying me.
Holy shit! I'm just sitting here. I'm just reading the chat.
You don't have to look at me for approval.
The mouse slams. Here goes. We've turned the corner here. We finally broke them. We took an hour and a half.
You're just very.
We didn't miss the donation, guys. We usually do the breakdown, then we get back to it. Come on.
Makwan Amirkhani is a stud wrestler. The guy averages 4 takedowns per fight. And even in his last 4 losses, he had 16 takedowns. He's more of a first-round guy than he is sort of a decision or third-round kind of guy. His takedowns have been holding up. His chin has not. He's been getting sort of beat up and put out as of late. You learn a lot about an undefeated fighter coming off their first loss. Look at Romanov. We learned he's a bitch.
Ooh.
He got fat. I wouldn't say.
Could you think you could out-wrestle Romanov?
No, of course not. Absolutely not.
Well...
William Knight, I'll out-wrestle.
You don't think you could You don't think right now, from what you saw there, that you could outwork Romanov?
No.
Wow, that says a lot about you. That says a lot about you, because that guy was a fat slob that couldn't breathe after 30 seconds.
Dude, he was getting that takedown if the
what
cage
happens
wasn't
when
grabbed.
you walk up a flight of stairs? Holy shit!
He was getting that takedown if that cage wasn't grabbed. Anyway,
God.
Makwan Amirkhani is not completely out of this fight, and we're going to see what happens when Jack Shore is coming back after his first loss. A finish, no less. He may come out here deflated, afraid to engage, a little gun shy, and he might get taken down over and over again because he's not letting his hands go. He's not pushing a pace because he's afraid of what's coming his way. Or he's going to reset, come out here, be that guy that everybody thinks he's going to be, get his own takedowns, win those striking exchanges, and get the job done. I am in that camp. I think Jack Shore is not an overrated guy. He's got some quality wins. He's beaten some good people. He showed that he has composure. He showed that he's evolving. So I trust Jack Shore to get it done. And I also thank Sean O for signing up to become a premium member literally just now. Jack Shore is my pick. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Have my baby, Sean. Yeah, I think this is one of the... this is one of my more confident plays on this card. And it really has nothing to do with Jack Shore. It comes down to Makwan Amirkhani, because that guy is basically, we brought up Romanov, he is the Romanov of the featherweight division. If he fails the first couple takedowns, he is tired, he kind of quits, his body language changes, he starts doing stupid, wild shit just to get the fight to the ground because he's comfortable there. I mean, he is the Romanov of this division. Jack Shore just has to defend the first, second, maybe the third takedown attempt, which should be pretty easy, because even in that Ricky Simone fight, he was defending takedowns pretty well. And Amirkhani is a good wrestler, but Ricky Simone is like an explosive,
relentless.
Like early on, if he gets on your legs, he doesn't need to connect his hands. He is strong enough to do it. And Jack Shore was handling it pretty well in that matchup. So Jack Shore should be able to defend the early takedowns and really break down Makwan in this fight, because Makwan is not a striker. He wants to grapple, and he will get finished time and time again. And especially lately, it seems like he is just uninterested if he cannot get in a top position quick. But Jack Shore, if for some reason he does go to a knee, go to the ground, he's got to be careful, because Makwan does have those very, 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 very slick submissions, the front chokes, the wild stuff. He will get in there very quick, so Jack should be aware of that. I don't think it's even going to come down to him like having to win a scramble or anything. I don't think he's going to be able to get taken down, and he can really lay on the volume second, third round. I have bets on Jack Shore, specific bets for premium members. Wheelpicks.com. Become a premium member. Only $10 a month. Let's see if we can get somebody else to sign up right now. It's like a telethon.
Still Sean O.
We're just looking for three more callers. We can just get 3 more callers.
Still Sean O.
But I'm very high on Jack Shore in this matchup. There's only one other person on this card that I'm as confident in, and we'll get to that. But I like Jack Shore in this matchup.
I do as well. I think we're on the same side here. So does the public. The line went from minus 350 to minus 500. He is a big-time favorite here. I think he wins. I'm confident in him. 500, I mean, my one fear is he's coming off that loss. He's going to be a little gun-shy, and you don't want to be gun-shy with a guy who's just looking to take you down, because he's just going to shoot. If Makwan doesn't have to worry about what he's going to get hit with, he's going to shoot. So that's the one thing that worries me, but we're both on the Jack Shore side. $9,500, probably great money in DraftKings. He should get the takedowns, potentially get a finish in this fight, as Makwan has been getting finished. And if he doesn't get the takedowns, he'll be the far better striker, and he should be able to get it done there as well. So
yeah, I think
Jack
he
Shore's
keeps that standing, baby.
Yeah, Jack Shore's the best. Sometimes these guys can't control themselves from shooting, but Jack Shore should, I mean, look at...
like an addict.
Like Piotr Jan was shooting takedowns on Rob.
Yeah, tie that thing off. Get that thing tight. Then you release it. It's just ecstasy. I've watched a lot of movies.
People are actually going to think the conspiracy theory is going to run wild that you're skinny like a drug addict too.
Yeah, well, we disproved that earlier, remember? 182.2.
Yeah, we're fully clothed.
Oh! Whoa! Holy shit. Is that the diabetes taking your throat?
Well, it took my foot. That's what's next. We do have a super chat. $1.99 from Degenerate UFC fan. The man's man parlay. Amirkhani, Delidze, and Leon Edwards at plus $4,900.
2 of those will hit.
Well, Jacob and I disagree.
There's that's a guarantee.
Very severely.
There's one that's a guarantee.
I think all 3 of those miss. I think every single one of those miss.
There's one that's a guarantee.
Well, thank you very much for the super chat. It is genuinely appreciated. We did not get a new premium member since my last announcement.
He's coming. Jesus is coming.
Failing.
He's coming back.
Failing.
No, Jesus is coming.
Jesus. He's in that cave, but actually he's not there yet.
Well, he's in the chat saying he's going to sign up. I'm not joking when I said that.
Oh, I thought you were making an Easter joke.
No.
Oh, I see.
Jesus in the chat.
Ron Kaneko. Anyway, next up at UFC 286, we have the main card opener. This is a fantastic fight, a highly debated fight. We got Marvin Vettori taking on Roman Delidze. Marvin Vettori is 18-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that loss to Robert Whittaker. Roman Delidze 4-1 in his last 5, 12-1 overall, coming off the incredible win over Jack Hermanson. Listen, we all know what these guys are, right? Marvin Vettori, busy striker, got plenty of cardio, head like a cement wall, and can grapple. Roman Delidze does not have plenty of cardio, incredibly dangerous hands, incredibly dangerous jiu-jitsu, takedowns not so great. We probably agree on all of that, but you'll get your chance in a second. I think Marvin Vettori wins this fight. And it pains me to say that because Jacob and I have been all over Roman Delidze. We've made a lot of money on Roman Delidze.
You don't want to tell them this is a little bit biased pick?
Because Marvin's a Guido?
I think we need to be honest with the people that this is a pretty extremely biased pick for you. Show them your back tattoo of fucking full Italy across your back.
It's just the Last Supper.
Literally
my whole
full
back is
Italy
just the Last Supper.
across your entire back. Get up and show them. I think they should know that you are full-blooded Italian.
I do have Italian writing up my spine.
Checkmate.
You know what it says? Would you like to know? It's pretty corny.
Don't go in that hole.
And then it's exit only. It says, the mat is my church, the ground is my heaven, and wrestling is my religion. I'm married to wrestling. I worship wrestling. I told you this would be stupid.
Nobody laugh. Nobody laugh.
It's up my
nobody
spine.
laugh. Nobody laugh.
It's up my sign.
Nobody
anyway,
laugh.
That's
Can
those
you still
two
see
guys.
it's on your spinal cord? It doesn't, like, you have to pull it back to see it, to show people? Like just pull them apart, and then you can read them. You're like, you see you have a tattoo. I honestly I'd never.
Oh, we got it. Jesus Roncanicchio. Thank you, Jesus. Very well done.
Because I've never seen it. And
Back to the breakdown.
Looking back there pretty often.
Jesus Christ. Back to the breakdown. Mm-hmm. I think Marvin Vettori gets this done because he's got that cement head. So I don't think Roman Delidze is going to knock him out. He's got that incredible cardio. Roman Delidze will fade. And if he doesn't want to take Roman down, Roman doesn't have the takedowns to get him down. Right? Roman Delidze's takedowns are absolute trash city.
Agreed.
He's not going to take Marvin down.
Agreed.
So, in order for it to get to the ground where Roman is going to be the most dangerous in this matchup,
right? He's
got great hands, but Marvin Vettori's head, it just doesn't matter. Marvin's going to have to shoot the takedowns. I know you have your theory. You'll get your theory in a second. Right. I think if Marvin shoots the takedowns, his submission defense is going to be good enough. I don't think he's going to need to shoot the takedowns because he's going to have success on his feet. And the reason that Jack Hermanson got smoked by Roman is because Jack Hermanson fancies himself as this crazy, incredible jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu guy, and he played that game and he got smoked. But the reality is Roman Delidze has been on the ground with many people and didn't just immediately murder them in jiu-jitsu. And I'm the one who's been preaching Roman Delidze is a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, and there are levels to this. All that being said, I think Marvin wins. I'm not betting. Actually, I do have a bet, and the bet's on Roman. Roman leads a inside the distance decision, no action.
Oh, just fucking spoil it.
And I think that's because Marvin's going to win a decision here, so I'll get a refund. But if Roman does to him what he's been doing to everybody else in his last couple of fights, I'll get paid. I just think Marvin's chin, his cardio, and his submission defense are going to get him through this. And the odds makers feel the same. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really disagree with anything you said. I mean, this is the reason Marvin Vettori is the minus 300 favorite is he should absolutely win this fight for every reason that Angelo said. He should have the volume and the striking. He has a cement head. He's not going to get knocked out. And he shouldn't need to wrestle to win. If you don't need to wrestle Roman, you can probably beat him. So that's why Vettori should win. The issue is, I think Marvin Vettori is an idiot. I think that he's an emotional idiot inside the octagon, and I believe, in my mind, 100% wholeheartedly, that if you asked Marvin Vettori right now, if you walked up to Marvin Vettori with the microphone, you would have to do it because you know the Italian, but if you asked him, do you think you are a better grappler than Roman Dolidze? I guarantee Marvin Vettori thinks that he is a better grappler than Roman Dolidze, and he absolutely is not. You mentioned there is levels to this game. If he goes to the ground, he is going to get swept, and he is going to be in big, big trouble because Roman is no joke on the ground. I think that he shoots a takedown at some point. I believe that Roman in the stand-up does not have to respect the striking of Marvin Vettori. He's not a powerful guy, right? He's just volume. He gets in your face, volume. So because he does not have to strike or respect the power, Roman can throw his power, right? I think at some point he's going to land a shot. And Marvin Vettori, when people land shots on him, that's when he goes to the wrestling. You saw that in his last fight versus Paulo Costa. Or I guess not his last fight, but you saw it in the Paulo Costa fight. When he is getting touched, Paulo will land a shot, he will body clinch, he will go to the takedowns. I believe Marvin Vettori believes that he can default to the wrestling and survive on the ground. Maybe he can. I do not believe that he will. I think the fight goes to the ground. Eventually, Roman finds a sweep and finds a submission on this knucklehead fighter. I think Marvin Vettori is overrated. He doesn't have any power. He's not a crazy offensive wrestler, and I think I'm riding this Roman train. You know what's funny is Roman has one loss, and the only time he's lost is when I picked my lock of the week against him. So this guy looks great, beating everyone. He's lost one time, and it's when I picked my lock of the week against him, but he did not lose that fight. He's undefeated, and I think he gets it done again. I'm riding the train until it falls off.
I agree with you. He's undefeated. I want him to win. I want Roman to win because if Marvin wins, it does nothing for the division. All it did was eliminate a contender, frankly. Because how many times do you watch Marvin fight the top 2 or 3 guys?
Yeah,
and
you
not
can't
win?
beat any of them.
Yeah, which sucks. That's got to suck to be one of the best people on the planet, just not good enough, right? And you're always, he's just going to be there for a while. With that being said, I do think he gets it done because he is one of the best people on the planet, and Roman does not have cardio. I think cardio is going to be his biggest issue.
He's got
Trevin Giles,
but he's not a quitter, which is good. I mean, he's not a quitter. He's a dog. No. I mean, he has a
man voice too.
Hey, dogs are like this.
Yeah, he's got a man voice.
That's what we said when he was like, you understand what Cheyenne was thinking. I mean, you understand when you go from JP Pies to I am Roman Dolidze. Come lay on my chest hair. I mean, I've mentioned it before, but that chest hair looks absolutely beautiful.
It's great.
Oh
I'm basically.
I literally. Could you imagine being able to just run your fingers just right up that? Just ooh.
Nope.
Oh my god. I just got goosebumps a little bit. Oh shit. Good for you, Cheyenne. If they're still together, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to get. I don't like to snoop around girls' Instagrams.
I'm not spending the $9,100 on Marvin Vettori, although I do think he wins. I think it's just a bunch of jabs. It's a 3-round fight instead of a 5. Like, I'm not going to spend the $9,100 in DraftKings, although I do think he wins. $7,100 on Roman Dolidze. If you're on that side, which a lot of people are on that side, a lot of people, like 80% of our comments in the free Discord, to the Discord, and the videos are on the Roman side. Even in this live stream, the comments here are all on Roman. The line says otherwise. So you guys are on Roman. You're just not putting your money on it.
Man, it's pretty typical.
Are you going to do the $7,100 on Roman Dolidze?
No, because I think it is. I think he gets it done, but it is a Hail Mary because when you watch that Jack fight too, he honestly looked like shit up until Jack decided to shoot a takedown. And I think it's a little bit different because Jack is
that was short notice.
And Jack is more bouncy in and out. He's moving around, and Roman is following him, where Marvin Vettori will get right in your face, and he will just kind of stand there, So I think striking is a little bit different, but he did look like crap leading up to that point. So I literally watched. I was very high on Roman, and I watched that Jack Hermanson fight, and I was like, uh-oh. That literally was like, uh-oh. This is going to be a Hail Mary. I think he can get it done because Marvin, I mean, even on the embedded, it looked like he was working on takedowns, working on grappling. It's like, okay, here we go. Good luck.
I hear you. I am on the Vittoria side. You're on the Delidze side. Neither one of us are on the DraftKings side of this fight. Become a premium member. It's only $10 a month. When the final props for this fight drop, we may hit them. We may jump on them. So make sure you have linked your Discord. The Discord is 100% free to join. And if you're a premium member, you can get alerts to your phone when we place bets, when we make our picks, when we do all of those things. WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month. I mean, realistically. Even if you don't tail, even if you think our bets are awful, you're not going to tail any of the bets. We have a 38-column spreadsheet of detailed data that you can use to find your own spots. We have a DraftKings optimizer that you can use to build your own lineup. So we have tools there as well to help you find spots, help you make money, not just copy-paste content like a lot of other people are pushing. WeOwnPicks.com, $10 a month. Next up, at UFC 286, we have Jennifer Maia taking on Casey O'Neill. Casey O'Neill. Jennifer Maia, 2-3 in her last 5, but she is 20-9 overall, and she's coming off that striking win over Marina Moroz. Casey O'Neill's 9-0 in her career. She's undefeated, coming back after more than a year away. Jennifer Maia is well-rounded. She's got solid BJJ, just okay wrestling, but her boxing is underrated. She's a decision fighter, but she pushes a pace, and she does look for finishes, even though she's not really getting them. She's incredibly tough, solid everywhere, and just a really good measuring stick to find out how good somebody actually is or is not in the division. We're going to find out with Casey O'Neill, because Casey O'Neill is a prospect. She's a Muay Thai striker at her core, but she's been a real wrestler as of late in the UFC. She's got solid elbows. She's willing to brawl. She gets in the firefights. She's got 8 takedowns in her short UFC career so far. Her jiu-jitsu is lacking a little bit, and her takedown defense was definitely exposed in her last fight, which was against Roxanne Modafferi. But she landed 230 strikes, but she went 0 for 2. And, wasn't that Roxanne's retirement fight? And I get it. Roxanne's tough.
I mean, she's probably the toughest person. We talk about mentally tough or mentally weak people and fighters that quit and this and that. And nobody's a dog. Literally, the most tough person to probably ever walk through the UFC is Roxanne Modafferi. I mean, it is crazy. I thought her face was beaten and battered. But yeah, go ahead. But she is crazy tough.
Well, and people expected Casey to murder her, and it was like a clinic in the striking, but she didn't defend takedowns, couldn't get takedowns. And, similar to how we dogged Muhammad Mokaev a little bit, it was a win that sort of exposed some things in her game.
Don't listen to him.
She's fighting Jennifer Maia. Jennifer Maia is tough. Jennifer Maia is good. She's well-rounded. She has 20 more fights than Casey O'Neill does, and she's a very tough outing for a lot of people. I do think Casey O'Neill wins. This could be a Casey O'Neill special, where she'll come forward, tons of volume, and then wrestle. But if she doesn't get that wrestling going, I think she could have some trouble with Jennifer Maia's underrated boxing. And if Jennifer Maia gets some takedowns going, we've seen Casey O'Neill have a few issues off of her back. So Casey's going to be the pick. It was a striking clinic against sort of the slow, lumbering Roxanne Modafferi. The grappling struggle is what worries me a little bit in this fight. I'm not betting on Casey O'Neill. She feels like if anybody's going to blow up a parlay, it's going to be her. But she is only a modest 165 favorite. I did expect her to be a much larger favorite than that because she's such a hype prospect. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, she is a hype prospect. I'm a big fan. I will say I am a little bit biased because I am a big fan of
you sent me some
O'Neill.
pictures today.
I can send more if you want, but
well, thank you.
I've got a magazine too. I meant to send you. It's a different variety one, but yeah, I am a big fan of King Casey. She is coming off knee surgery. I mean, that's why she was out. It was a major knee surgery. And she really kind of pushed herself to get back to, because she really wanted to fight on this card. I don't think that's going to be a situation where she came back too early or whatever, but it was, I mean, she did say, I really want to be on this card, so she is on this card. This is a close fight. You mentioned the Roxanne fight. Casey looked, I thought, fantastic in the first couple rounds. It was a split decision, but it wasn't really a split decision. One of the judges gave Roxanne the first round. I mean, Casey clearly won the first 2 rounds. And then definitely after throwing 300 strikes, 400, whatever strikes it was, and got taken down. But that's against a girl like Roxanne who is just not going to stop. And I think that actually was a great tune-up for this fight, because Jennifer Maia is kind of the same person. Pressure, volume, will mix in a takedown or two. I think it's the same type of fight. And if Casey didn't have that war to go through with Roxanne, I think she could have been overwhelmed in a fight against Jennifer Maia, because Jennifer Maia is a much better fighter than Roxanne, with kind of the same game plan. But she went through the fire. She came out on top. Even in that 3rd round, she's one of those girls that, when I say that some girls are, and some guys, some girls are like bad bitches, right? I mean, Juliana Miller, to open up the card, you could tell, like, she's a bad, when push comes to shove, she will give that extra effort. She will get crazy in the cage. She will do whatever she needs to do to try to win a fight. King Casey is one of those bad. I mean, she is a bad bitch in the octagon. So if this is a close fight, 1-1, I can trust her to really put on and understand it's a close fight. I need to do what I need to do to win, because she is that undefeated fighter, and she really takes pride in being an undefeated fighter. So, long story short, I think it is a very close fight. I think it's mostly standing. If Jennifer can get takedowns, I agree with Angelo. That's her easiest path to victory. But I think this is a mostly striking match, and Casey can just 2-1 volume Jennifer as she's working in, just like she did against Roxanne. I mean, it's just the jab. I mean, jab. Every time she's walking in, jab with a 1-2, and every time she throws a 1-2, it seems like it lands. I think she out-volumes her in a 29-28 decision. It's going to be close. It could be going 1-1 to the 3rd. I like King Casey all day, every day in a close fight. She's a bad bitch, man. Oh.
Listen, I hear you. I think she gets it done as well. We're both on the same side. I'm scared money don't make money, so I'm not going to make money. I'm not betting on this fight. She's a year removed from not her best performance against somebody who was retiring that night, and she's taking on Jennifer Maia, who's good. So I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to watch the fight.
I think Jennifer's the more well-rounded fighter.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Her grappling's very good.
She's not a bad bitch. You know what I mean? God damn.
Okay. All right. Relax.
I'm thirsty. Down. Jesus.
Yes. Extreme.
Wow. Took you a little bit to make that connection.
I was reading a comment. Yeah.
I get it.
Thanks for the layup. $7,700 in DraftKings for Jennifer Maia. You need underdogs in your lineup, and she may be a solid one. The problem is, if Casey O'Neill wins, she's going to get a bunch of takedowns and put up a bunch of points like that.
I disagree with the wrestling. I think she wants to stand and bang.
I don't think she might have some trouble with Jennifer Maia if she's going to stand there and strike with her the whole time.
She can easily outstrike Jennifer Maia.
I think she should. I agree. I think she absolutely should, but I don't think it's going to be the cakewalk that she thinks it's going to be. Jennifer Maia is a dog.
What do you think Jennifer sounds like?
Whatever. Is that a Brazilian type of dog?
Tudo bem.
Porra.
Tudo bem.
What are we doing? Jesus
Tudo bem.
Fucking dog noises.
No,
anyway,
I mean, I'm speaking Portuguese. I mean, didn't want to show it off this early, but I've been learning Portuguese. So
I'm absolutely positive you have been. So you're not going to play either side in DraftKings?
No. I think it's a close fight.
I agree with you. WeWantPicks.com for all the things, including free stuff. There's plenty of free articles on the website. Dive in. We have a bunch of people writing for us, giving out free bets. The link to the Discord is there. There's a lot of free content on the website, including jumping into our affiliate partners and getting paid, but also premium membership, $10 a month. Next up, at UFC 286, we have the feature fight of the evening. We have Gunnar Nelson taking on Brian Barberena. Gunnar Nelson is 2-3 in his last 5, coming off his first win in 5 years. 18-5 overall. What?
Isn't it Gunnar?
God, I hope not.
I think it is because he's Norwegian. I think it's Gunnar.
What a stupid ass name that is. He's taking on Brian Barberena, 18-9 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that submission loss to Rafael Dos Anjos. And that's why these odds are what they are, right? That's why Gunnar is a minus 450.
I could be wrong with that, but I'm pretty sure.
You're 100% wrong. You're 100% wrong.
No, I'm not.
The reason he's a minus 450 favorite is because everybody just watched the RDA fight, saw Brian get taken down a couple of times, and then ultimately submitted. And it's like, oh, Gunnar Nelson has solid jiu-jitsu, solid grappling. He should be able to get that done. I don't necessarily think it's that easy because Gunnar Nelson's got that long karate style, and that makes his takedowns pretty trash, honestly, because he has to close so much distance because he's all long and stupid, and then he has to get close, square up, and then shoot. So his takedown percentage is low. His takedowns are a bit telegraphed. And Brian Barberena will never be the more technical guy in a fight. He's never going to be the more technical guy in that cage. But he will almost always be the tougher guy, always be the guy pushing and trying to get that done. He is a fun guy. He's a brawler, great gas tank. And you really have to finish him to get him out of there. And Gunnar Nelson wouldn't be the first sort of older vet that Brian Barberena just beat him in his tracks. Look what he did to Robbie Lawler. Obviously, different type of matchup. I do think Gunnar Nelson wins. I think he has to grapple to win because if he's going to strike with Brian Barberena, again, Brian Barberena is never the more technical guy. But he's going to throw hard. He's going to stay in your face. He's going to give you a hard time. And it just feels to me that Gunnar Nelson shows up for these UFC London cards for the paycheck, fighting.
Oh, my God. How
I
disrespectful.
do not get,
Hey, Gunnar.
I'm being very disrespectful. I am.
My grandmother
I don't
was
get the
Norwegian,
impression.
and I apologize. I would never treat another Norwegian that way.
I just don't get the impression that he's in there. He didn't even look at his last fight. He went out there. He dominated a short notice guy who hasn't been there for years. No, he didn't. Couldn't even put him away. So I do think Gunnar wins because there's a bigger gap on the ground than there is anywhere else in this fight. But Brian Barberena will fight for your money. I'm not betting on him, but he's a tough guy, and this could be the parlay buster of the evening. But Gunnar Nelson's going to be the pick.
Gunnar is my most confident play on this card because I think it is a perfect matchup for him. Listen, if it was anyone else, I don't trust the striking of Gunnar. I don't trust his takedowns. I agree.
Stop! It's not Gunnar. Stop saying
it is Gunnar. It literally is. The chat confirmed it. It's Gunnar. That's how you say it.
And they're okay.
You threw me off. Yeah, I don't know what to do anymore. Lost my train of thought.
Okay. All right. Cool. He's your most confident.
No, I was going to say, you were right about the takedown. He doesn't have very good takedowns. On the ground, obviously, he is an issue. But against a guy like Brian Barberena, I think that Brian struggles with the range, right? And he's not a powerful puncher guy, so I don't have to worry about the one hit, the one hitter quitter type shot that's going to land on Gunnar. And when he tries to close the distance, that's when Gunnar will be there with the body clinch and then the takedown. So it's not going to be Gunnar that's having to chase down Brian and take him down. It's going to be Brian because he is an aggressive guy. He will fight for your money. Angela was absolutely right. He will press forward. He will try to throw volume. But once he gets inside the striking of Gunnar will just body clinch him and then take him down because every single person takes Brian Barberena down. That's just what happens. Every single person that he fights takes him down. So I think Gunnar can get the takedowns in those clinch situations. But if he wants to just stand and strike, I think he can just kind of outpoint Brian, kind of trying to blitz in with that volume because he's not a powerful guy. He lacks holes in the wrestling, and I think Gunnar just matches up perfectly with a guy like Brian. But I do appreciate Brian taking this fight, so we still have an opponent for Gunnar. But yeah, I'm Gunnar all the way.
It's funny. I was on.
Oh, it's Iceland, not Norway. Sorry.
Yeah. And I'm on.
It's the same thing.
So it is Gunnar. Yeah. So I'm on.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Actually, you know what? Brian Barberena is definitely gonna fucking.
So I went to Tapology just to he's your most confident pick. He hasn't had a finish in 4 years. And then I'm just scrolling down and Tapology has the very first. So they do people write their picks and stuff like this, but they don't organize it so that the fight you're looking at is the description you're reading. Anyway, the very first paragraph written by a random comment person on Tapology starts off with, Italians have always been very chinny in the UFC. So I was like, fuck you. Wow. Meanwhile, Vettori has the chin of all chins in that division.
Well,
anyway.
Just jinx the shit out of that. Might want to play Roman first round KO now.
I have Roman inside a distance decision no action. We're good. Listen,
Well,
I think Gunnar Nelson wins this. I think Gunnar Nelson wins this fight. Like I said, the skill gap on the ground is wider than any other potential skill gap anywhere. And Brian Barberena in this matchup is really just a tough guy, right? He's just going to be super tough and come forward. He's not going to be more technical. He's not going to be faster. We somehow lost Jacob. So Gunnar Nelson going to be the pick. What happened? You clicked the button by accident?
No, it's just you're the one that's lagging out. It's not me.
I've got full internet. I don't know. Anyway, we're both on the Gunnar side. He's your most confident pick. You want to bet? I'm not going to bet against Gunnar, but I bet it. What? Let's figure out a bet.
Oh, here we go. Some bullshit bet.
Well, because
something that's going to be so crazy in favor of you, and you're going to be like, oh, Mr. Confident doesn't want to bet.
Is the round line 1.5?
It might. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll bet over 1.5.
No,
I'll bet
over
1.5.
I like over too. So it is 1.5. Over 1.5 is minus 170. So there you go. Oh, I like over 1.5.
Well, he's your most confident bet.
Yeah.
WeWantPicks.com. You can see all his bets on this guy.
I bet he finishes though. Do you want to just say bet for the finish? I guarantee he finishes, Brian.
If he wins, that's probably the only way he's going to win. So no, I'm not betting.
Oh, Mr. Rub those nipples.
Next up at UFC 286, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Justin Gaethje taking on Rafael Fiziev. Justin Gaethje, 23-4 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that title challenge loss to Charles Oliveira.
And I think it's Fiziev.
I've heard everybody say it always. I always say
I think
Fiziev.
You're about to be. I think it's supposed to be. Yeah, but you're about to be 0 for 2 for pronunciation. So it's Fiziev.
I usually say Fiziev, and I say that in the Quick Picks video, but I said Fiziev here because I was just watching.
Trying to capture all the audience. Trying to capture all the audiences.
Daniel Cormier was saying Fiziev in his breakdowns. Anyway, Rafael Fiziev, 12-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight knockout streak. And this is an interesting breakdown. This should be a really fun fight because Justin Gaethje, while is a successful college wrestler, has 0 takedowns in the UFC. Doesn't even try. No attempts, no takedowns, doesn't even try. But he is a college wrestler. So instead, what he becomes is just a really tough, great low kick having brawler. And he'll chop your legs, throw for your head. Chop your legs, throw for your head. He's had a ton of success, but he can't handle technical strikers. That's how Dustin Poirier beat him. That's how Charles Oliveira just beat him. If you are a technical striker, Justin Gaethje has trouble, and he's fighting Rafael Fiziev, who is the most technical striker in this division. The guy is literally the Tiger Muay Thai striking coach. That's where most high-level strikers want to go to get their, to get that experience, get the rounds in, get the time in. And he's just a phenomenal striker who showed us he has phenomenal takedown defense. Rafael Dos Anjos took him down twice in that fight. But Fiziev defended 14 takedowns against against a bigger, stronger grappler. So I think Fiziev wins this fight. I think he's somewhat of an easy pick here because stylistically, Justin Gaethje struggles with technical strikers. Rafael Fiziev is probably the most technical striker in the division. Even if Justin wants to wrestle, which we haven't seen him do, but we do know he can, Rafael Fiziev has defended an incredible amount of takedowns from some of the better grapplers in the division. So Fiziev is one of my more confident picks. I know, Justin Gaethje's got power. He's dangerous. But when was the last time we saw him with that power? It's been a while.
So, he landed some shots on Khabib, honestly. He landed some shots on Khabib. He dropped Charles Oliveira, but everyone drops him. But he was landing some shots on Khabib. It's like, holy shit. That was like Khabib's last fight, so he's like, nobody's going to knock me out.
He's a wild, tough striker who does hit hard, but he's not technical. He's a little sloppy, and Fiziev shouldn't really have any issues with that. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, Fizzy's my dude. I've been a big fan of his for a long time, and I have nothing against Justin in this breakdown, but there's just levels to this game. Angelo mentioned the Tiger. Everyone goes to Tiger Muay Thai to learn how to strike, and this guy is teaching everyone how to strike at that camp. And the last coach they had, Brad Riddell, he knocks him out. So he fought the former coach of Tiger Muay Thai, the striking coach, and knocked out the striking coach of everyone that was teaching everyone else how to strike. It is just next level striking. Now, I will say, Justin is always going to be live with that power because he stays in the pocket. He's tough as hell. He eats shots to give shots. And if Fizzy, if he zigs when he's supposed to zag, you hear that happen all the time. Anything can happen when people are zigging when they're supposed to zag. And Justin lands, he can get knocked out. But the other thing I'm worried about is Fizzy used to be a guy that was also a brawler. I mean, he was a very technical brawler, but in that Bobby Green fight, he was like throwing like wildly. And Fizzy even said himself, he's like, listen, I don't get tired. I promise I work harder than everyone. I just love to fight. And once I get in there, I will just go crazy because I love fighting so much. And yeah, I will get tired, but it's because working really, really hard. So if that becomes this fight, and Fizzy is throwing that crazy volume in the first round and he starts to gas, I know that Justin can push through that gas tank and really still pressure fighters, and Fizzy has faded in the past. He still fought back against Bobby Green, and he definitely lost that third round, but he was still fighting, but he definitely was tired. So if Justin can bait Fizzy into one of his fights, into one of his brawls, he really does have a chance in this matchup, but I've seen Fizzy kind of turn that corner. He even has a quote where he's like, listen, I'm not out there fighting for bonuses, where Justin's all about the bonus. He's like, I want to get there. I'm close. I want to get those wins. He fought very, 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 very confidently and methodically against the striker in Brad Riddell. I think he does the same thing against Justin Gaethje. He really kind of exposes Justin Gaethje's striking, makes him look like a high school street fighter. I think Justin is swinging wildly, missing wildly, and Fizzy is there with the absolute precise counters. He is such a good striker. I think he's the best striker in the UFC currently, regardless of weight class. He's going to show it off Saturday and get a dominant win.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same side here. Minus 225 is honestly solid money. I am surprised that the line is closing. People are giving Justin Gaethje a lot of respect, and he deserves that. He only has 4 losses. He's been fighting some of the highest level guys for a while now, but Dustin Poirier beat him with technical striking. He just lost that title fight with technical striking is what led to that loss. And Rafael Fiziev, I don't know who's going to disagree that he's not the more technical striker. Is he the more dangerous striker? Probably not, because even when he gets his knockouts, it's his technique that gets him there, not his raw power. But Justin Gaethje's he's got the low kicks. He he's cleaned up his striking. He's not like a sloppy mess, but he's a boxer, right? He's a boxer with some low kicks that should be wrestling and doesn't. And that's not.
And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Fizzy comes in and shoots a takedown or two to really kind of throw Justin off. Not that he's looking for a takedown or looking for control, but just to kind of throw his eye level off, get Justin thinking a little bit more. Because Rafael now is with the Hickman brothers in Thailand. I mean, he goes for Tiger Muay Thai, but he's with those Hickman brothers, and we've seen the wrestling that they bring to fighters. Loma, we saw it with Volk against Islam. They know what they're doing in the ground, and Fizzy has really improved his ground game. Don't be surprised if you see a takedown attempt or two from Fizzy.
We're both on the Fiziev side. He's surprisingly affordable. And then you have people that are not, right? There's a lot of people in this card who are not affordable, where Fiziev is surprisingly affordable. I think bookies and people are giving Justin Gaethje just a ton of credit for his toughness. And I get it, but it's not. I don't think that's going to be
It's crazy that the round line is at 1.5, considering how tough and durable Justin is, and Rafael being such a big favorite the way he is. And Rafi's tough too.
Yeah, and he's not finishing people in the first round. His finishes are usually later because he's worked you, he's battered you, he's bruised you, and then he'll get that finish. Anyway, $8,800 in DraftKings. I'll probably spend that. Minus 225 money line. Honestly, that's not terrible as well. It's somewhat affordable for a better striker in a striking match. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, and one point on this, and somebody mentioned in the chat, I think kind of mentioned in the chat, is Trevor Whitman is the coach of Justin Gaethje and Kamaru Usman. He's going to be cornering these guys back to back, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of energy he brings to the Usman locker room after Justin Gaethje gets absolutely destroyed.
Well, and it's hard to coach co-main and then main. It's very hard to do that. Because you're supposed to be warming up the main during the. There's a lot going on. Obviously, there's more than one coach.
He's going to be lost back there. He's going to be.
There's obviously more than one coach. But guys, WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month for premium. You're going to unlock all of our bets. We've already got like 17 units going on this card. The pay-per-views historically have been very, very successful. Next up, at UFC 286, we have the trilogy fight between Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. Leon Edwards, 20-3 overall. The current champion. He's 4-0-1 in his last 5, riding an 11-fight unbeaten streak. We say unbeaten because there was that weird eye poke fight. Kamaru Usman, 20-2. 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout loss to Leon Edwards.
What?
Which was his first
repeat
loss.
that?
You'll have your time to be annoying. Which was his first loss since I love that you were just like, you're right. His first loss since 2013. We all watched the first 2 fights. We definitely all watched the last fight. And here's the reality of it. Kamaru Usman got caught off guard in that first round, so he was taken down. Mm-hmm. Then he put it together.
Do you want to go round by round and make sure we got our facts straight? I think we should do that. I agree. The first round, he was mounted. Together. He was dominated.
You will have your chance to be.
No, we're gonna go round by round just to make sure. I don't want you laying out false facts. We're gonna go round by round. Second round. What happened in the second round? Go ahead.
I have to mute you. No. So he had he was caught off guard in that first round. Got taken down, was fully mounted. Jacob's going to use that to be like, Leon Edwards, look what he did in the first round. Then he got tired because it was elevation. That is nonsense. Let's put that aside. Kamaru Usman reset, was caught off guard, went out there, dominated the second round, the third round, dominated most of the fourth, was caught with that leg kick or the head kick. People were talking about a body kick in there as well. The reality is Kamaru Usman's a phenomenal wrestler. We've seen him have some power in his hands. He was very, very confident in that fight. Maybe a little too confident. I think Kamaru Usman wins this fight. Minus 250 seems like a fair price for a guy that hasn't lost since 2013. For a guy that hasn't lost since 2013, who was dominating this fight. He dominated this fight outside of one single takedown and one leg kick. They have fought twice already. For a collective 40-some-odd minutes. And Kamaru Usman has won 38 minutes of their 40 minutes of fighting. And I think it's more of the same. Jakey boy, you're unmuted. Go ahead, be annoying.
Let me just say, I guess from the bottom of my heart, honestly, we really do, and I think Angela would agree with me, we really do appreciate everything that Kamaru Usman has given to the sport. I mean, he was a great champion. Those fights with Colby were crazy. The Jorge knockout, the adversity with Gilbert Burns. We really do respect his career, and we wish him well. I mean, we wish him well because we obviously know that Saturday is going to be. It's going to be his last fight. I mean, it's going to be his last fight because Leon Edwards is absolutely going to retire this guy, and I cannot wait. My bet is placed. If you guys did not know, I have a $1,000 bet on Leon Edwards. I got him plus 205, and I feel absolutely good about it because I put my money where my mouth is. Where a lot of you people are saying, oh, Usman dominated, he's a lock. Oh, my God, lock of this century. Guess what? Go to your bank before they run out of money, because banks are running out of money. Get a loan for as much money as they will give you and put it on Usman if you think he's an absolute lock. Let me tell you something straight right now. After the Petr Yan and Aljo fight, I said, and I picked Aljo in the first fight, I doubled down and picked Aljo again in the second fight. Everyone said, oh my God, how could you pick Aljo? Oh my God, Petr Yan dominated that fight. Petr Yan is going to do unspeakable things to Aljo in that fight. I listened to what Aljo was saying in that fight. He said, listen, I was out of it. I had a bad weight cut. I couldn't do it. He was getting to positions, but he couldn't finish them. And I believed him when he said, listen, I couldn't move. I couldn't move in that fight. So I took that and I said, listen, if he's fine in this next fight, I think he got to the same positions. He can win this fight. So I trusted the guy. And he came through and he won that fight. It's arguably, I mean, people were going to say he didn't actually win that fight, but he came through and everyone went from Petr Yan's going to dominate to, well, Petr Yan actually did win that fight. It's like, shut the fuck up. So in this fight, Leon Edwards in the first fight literally said after the first round, I couldn't move. Slow motion. I could not do anything in there after the first round. And guess what? He still took 0 damage, defended takedowns, and still found the fucking knockout. Everyone talks about the dominating wrestling of Kamaru Usman. Leon defended more takedowns than Kamaru landed. And when he landed the takedowns, he did 0 with them. 0 damage. He was just hugging the entire time. One of the most dominant rounds for Usman was the third round of that fight. You know what the significant strike number was in the third round, Angelo? 10-7. I'll answer it for you. 10-7. Usman outstruck him. Significant strikes. You look at the total
Usman
strikes,
landed
significant
83
strikes.
significant strikes to 55 in that fight.
You had your time.
You're just
the
saying
fact
nonsense.
of the matter is this.
You know how many total strikes Usman landed?
The fact of the matter is this. Leon won the first round. The second round was very much more competitive than you remember. There was a takedown with 30 seconds to go that kind of sealed the round for Usman, but Leon was stinging him with left hands in that round 2 or 3 different times, stinging him with left hands when he said he already couldn't move, right? But he's still landing shots. Third round happens, gets taken down, yada yada. Fourth round happens. Fifth round, nothing was happening in that round, and then he found the knockout. Leon is going to come in motivated, confident, swaggered through the roof, feeling good, won't have the altitude to deal with, and he is going to absolutely smoke this guy, Kamaru Usman, who was just knocked out for 20 minutes after the last fight. He couldn't do it. He didn't recognize anything until the ambulance, in his own words. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Kamaru Usman lived thinking he was an untouchable champion. That's how he lived. He's been touched. His confidence is gone. You will see that, and Leon is going to absolutely dominate this matchup, and I can't wait to cash that bet. Go ahead, Angelo, with your rebuttal.
Couple things. I got stats in front of me. First of all, Lymph saying, Usman, 10 minutes of control, landed 30 more significant strikes, LOL. You don't know how they score significant strikes. Ground strikes are not significant strikes. Significant strikes are strikes at distance. That's why. Total strikes, 189. You managed to do that and not be on camera. Congrats. 180. Tiffany came in here and grabbed the baby mom.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, I didn't.
No. Because I was like, this her arm. Anyway, Kamaru Usman landed 189 total strikes to Leon Edwards 64. 189 to 64.
No, I think we both agree. Leon looked like shit. He looked like shit. I'm not going to argue the stats. Okay. He looked like shit. Guess what didn't happen? He didn't take damage. Guess what else didn't happen? He didn't get finished. Guess what else happened? He got up from every takedown. Guess what else? What else happened? He defended more takedowns than he got taken down, and he looked like shit the entire time. So if he looked like shit and still did that and still found the win, what's he going to look like when he's looking fantastic in front of the home crowd?
Here's the reality of it. You and I are on opposite sides, but unlike you, I'm a reasonable human being. I'm a reasonable person. I can see multiple sides.
I'm reasonable too. If Usman lays on him again, he can win this fight. He's not going to lay on him.
And Leon I think got that's up, what happens.
Leon got up.
No, he didn't.
Last fight.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Then how did he get 11 minutes of control time if he was just getting up like it was no big deal?
He defended the takedown, so he got up.
Popping right up. Just popped right up. 11 minutes of control time. Just popped right up. Idiot. Anyway, I think Usman wins this fight. With that being said, I do not have a bet on it. I am not swinging around screaming, he's a guarantee, he's a lock. I think he wins because, logically speaking, he won the vast majority of that fight. I think the first round was a fluke. I think he was caught off guard. I don't think that happens
You don't think the altitude plays a part?
I don't understand the whole altitude bullshit. I think
what
it's
do you
nonsense.
mean? You don't,
I understand. No.
No,
I
for everyone in
the
the chat, Leon trains, or Usman trains at altitude. The fight was at altitude. Yes, Leon came early, 2 weeks early, to get acclimated. But if you don't train at altitude, your body cannot get used to it. He was absolutely. You saw that happen to Aldo. You saw it with a bunch of people on that card. Even Usman was tired in the 5th round. That's why he couldn't get the takedown. That's why he was just hugging. And when people be like, oh, well, now they both won't have the altitude. Yeah, Usman's going to go from 75 to 100, but Leon was at 30 at that point. And then the 3rd, 4th round, he's going to go to 100. So altitude plays a part. You're going to see it.
Listen, I think Usman wins, okay? I think I'm going to time a dude out right now. Fuck you, talking to me like that. Fucking useless pussy. I think Usman wins this fight. I got to find that comment now. Time his ass out. I think Usman wins this fight. With that being said, I'm a very reasonable person, and he was knocked out cold, and that's just not
say
something.
Listen,
I hear you, but again, I'm a normal person.
Honestly, I think people just kind of. There's a lot of people that are just kind of acting like I guess that didn't happen. Like, oh, it was just, yeah, he got a lucky knockout. Do you guys understand how bad that knockout was? That wasn't like a stun, a TKO. He was flatlined and says he doesn't remember anything until he was in the ambulance. Now, Usman's known to exaggerate things, so I don't really believe when he says that.
He's very unlikable.
But he said that he doesn't remember anything until he got in the ambulance in the back. He was flatlined out cold. And Khabib has said before that once you get knocked out, it changes you. We see it with fighters time time and time again. We don't even know if his chin's going to be, because he was dropped. I mean, he was hurt by Gilbert. He's been dropped before. He could lose. I mean, his chin could be gone. And it could be a completely different fighter. Come in, gun shy. If I was Leon, I swear to God, if I was Leon, are you still looking for that gun? You still looking for that gun?
Oh, I'm going to time him out.
If I was Leon, the first 3 combinations I throw is that exact same kick. I'm blasting that left head kick just to let him know. I mean, imagine if you're Usman and the first thing you're defending is that head kick, you have to be in your own mind like, oh shit, here we go again. Usman's going to be diving at legs because just like I said last time, and I called it to the T, Leon was my lock of the week, Kamaru Usman cannot stand in front of this guy and not get knocked out. I said it last time. He got knocked out. He can't stand in front of this guy. He can't do it.
I don't disagree. We disagree on the pick. Okay, I think Usman wins.
I think we're both reasonable in what we're saying.
You're not reasonable.
I think we're both reasonable.
You're not a reasonable person.
No, I actually do like that you are reasonable. So keep going on that.
Yeah. So we both, I have to be, otherwise this whole thing implodes on itself. So I think Usman wins this fight because of the wrestling, because of the control time. I think the knockout, he's just like, that'll never happen again. And I think he is going to dive at legs nonstop. I think he's been nonstop working on wrestling for that exact reason.
And he's
a true champion who has beaten people that Leon Edwards will never beat.
Well,
if Leon Edwards wins this fight, he's not defending this belt.
He was losing to Colby. He lost to Colby. He couldn't finish a 6-day notice Jorge. We know who Jorge is now. He's absolutely awful. He got dropped by Gilbert Burns, and then he knocks out Jorge, which I just said Jorge is awful. So his resume doesn't hold up as well as you think because he lost to Colby twice, or he was on his way.
His last loss before what just happened was 2013, and he just showed up, got it done, came forward, wrestled press. But
I was going to say, Leon shot a takedown like in the 4th round that Usman fence grab on that he would have got. I mean, don't count out Leon also trying to out-wrestle this guy. There were some scrambles there as well.
He was
and
1 for
Usman,
5.
I mean, he faked that nut shot in the 5th round. I think that really hurt him because he really stopped his pace and pressure after that. I saw somebody talk about that today. That I think that
people are obsessed with that lately. I've seen a bunch of comments.
That groin shot in the 5th really hurt him more than people think. He faked an eye poke early. I mean, it's just fence grabs. He's a dirty guy.
Man, people are going to listen. Listen, we're split. My biggest concern here is that Usman was knocked out cold. I don't know how long it takes to recover from something like that. It has been almost a year. What's it been, like 8-9 months? But Usman is a little older. And
he might be the oldest 35-year-old in fight. He's been in some wars, man. And he's been wrestling forever. He's got bad knees. I don't want to use that as because a lot of people are being like,
that's exactly what I was just going to say.
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy.
This whole narrative of his body is falling apart. Here you go. You're timed out. You fucking.
You finally found it.
He commented again. Got his ass. Pussy.
Oh shit.
Anyway, that whole narrative drives me nuts. Oh, he's falling apart. His knees. This that.
No, he's had bad knees for every fight.
And it's never looked. When has he ever actually looked old? When has he looked old, slow, like he's falling apart? Never, ever. So he didn't look old when he was unconscious. He was just
he looked like an old man that fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah. Oh well.
Just heard the doorbell when he just like, oh, where am I?
Now listen, I think Usman wins, but with that being said, he was knocked out unconscious. I am not spending money on it. And good for you for putting your money where Edwards is. I know you love to throw that in people's faces very quickly. Mr. D says, Usman was talking about on the podcast. Usman is one of the most unlikable, worst personalities in the world. That was one of the worst episodes of that podcast ever. He would just say random bullshit. Jacob has a $1,000 bet on Leon Edwards to win. He puts his money where his mouth is. I have not in this fight because I'm not that confident in Usman to win. I think Usman wins. I'm not this confident in him to win the fight.
I mean, I literally said that. I literally said after the fight because we obviously knew they were going to rematch. I literally said after the fight, I'm like, Leon is probably going to be an underdog. He's going to be my biggest bet ever on one fighter. And here we are. Can't wait.
There you go. Guys, we are split on this fight, but this was a fun card to break down. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Head on over to WeWantPicks.com and start to take advantage of everything that Premium has to offer. In 2023 alone, we have given you 21.45 units of net profit. That is You got your bet money back, and this is just cash money profit in your pocket. The left is a safety parlay. Yes, we were down a half a unit because J.J. Aldrich, never a woman again. Right before that, Valentina Shevchenko, never a woman again. Before that, win, 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 win. The safety parlay in 2023 is up over 5 units just in 2023, 5.9, so almost 6. And our just straight up bets for premium members, the free ones we give away, are up 15 units. WeOwnPicks.com for all of that. We just added our latest feature. Every month we're adding new features, new functions, new things to make this the greatest value in history. And the latest thing we added was a 38-column spreadsheet of detailed analytics. There are people out there charging money just for the spreadsheet. We're giving you the spreadsheet. Take it. It's with membership. You're going to get everything else and the spreadsheet. Also, we divide it up. You can interact with it. You can slice and dice that data. WeWantPicks.com. Listen, if you guys don't bet, you don't do any of that stuff, hey, man, you like the content? It's a good time? You're enjoying it? Become a premium member just to show your support. And if you want that $50, WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. I will send you $50 as a thank you.
Any last words? I like Zodiac said, Angelo, lay off the salt. That was pretty funny. No, I think my last words is, I can't wait to say I told you so on Leon. And I will probably be streaming Saturday. I'm not 100% sure, but look for the stream Saturday, which should be a lot of fun. It's an early card, so we'll get those monsters going early.
Yeah, listen, I'm rooting for you. Because I don't have money on that fight, and it's better for We Want Picks, and you're my buddy. I hope you win some money. I'd rather be wrong with a pick and you make some money, and the channel does well.
Don't worry. I mean, there's no. I don't need you hoping and praying. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion at this point.
Yeah, you sort of have the last couple of weeks. Sort of have. How's that lock of the